Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Where's the bug? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Where is the bug?
Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You
1,
weren't
2,
kidding
3,
me.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
These are my brothers, blood and non-blood. So, yeah, it's. Are we gonna play till we win? I don't know. I really don't know. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't part of the reason why we're still playing. Like even the last couple years, you just said, okay, let's give it one more go.
Here's the 1-2 pitch, and that's lined into the outfield. That's 400 hits in the IBL career of Dan Mara. Brendan Coley. Looks like he came in at first base. Here's one smashed to left field by Mara, and it's gone. Dan Mara goes yard, and the Toronto Maple Leafs lead 4-0. Dan Mara is going to join the show, second baseman for the Toronto Maple Leafs, in just a moment. Thanks so much for tuning into Leafs Weekly, episode 8. So this has been a bit of a slow start for the Maple Leafs to the 2024 campaign, but it feels like there are signs that things are starting to turn around a little bit, especially on the bats side of things for the Maple Leafs this season. And they have a big test coming up on Sunday. That's going to be a game against the London Majors, who are in second place in the Intercounty Baseball League right now. It feels like the Maple Leafs can win that game. It's a statement game and maybe a game that can change the momentum of the Maple Leafs season and turn things around in their favor. So Dan Mara is going to be our guest joining the show here very shortly. He's a guy who's done something that not a lot of people can say they've done in the Intercounty Baseball League, and it's reached the 400 hit plateau in the regular season. That was a mark that Dan Mara hit earlier this season against the Barrie Bay Cats. And those 400 hits come in less at bats than you might think as well. A guy who's hit over 300 in the regular season in his intercounty baseball league career. And one of the most incredible stats that I've seen from Dan Morrow over his career is the fact that he almost never strikes out. In fact, he had a career high in strikeouts last year, just 15 in the entire season. He's never gone over that in his intercounty baseball league career. Puts the ball in play a lot and gets a ton of hits for this Maple Leafs team that he's been with since way back in 2011. So we're going to bring in Dan Mara here. Dan, I know this has been a little bit of a slow start for the Maple Leafs this season, but it feels like the bats are starting to come around. Do you feel like things are getting pretty close here for this Maple Leafs team?
Yeah. Um, Obviously a slower start than we wanted to have. But we're a pretty veteran bunch, and we've sort of notoriously had slower starts. And part of that is just we're an older group and guys are working and have personal commitments. Guys like Marcus, who took the summer off last year. So we sort of knew it was going to be a slow start. So I don't think anyone's pressing, but it's definitely good to see some of the bats get going, and even on the on the other side of the ball starting to pick it a little bit better. Obviously that's been a part been part of what we've been looking to improve on, but definitely good to see some of the bats start to get hot, Marcus included, Castaldo, my brother, and hopefully we can get the rest of us going a little bit here pretty soon.
Well, Dan, I got the opportunity to chat with you here, so I got to take you back to your roots. The first one I got for you, I mean, you were a kid, back in 2007, 8, 9, playing at South Dakota State. Did you ever think when you came to the Intercounty Baseball League back then that you would still be here in 2024 and thriving in the IBL?
Thriving. I like that. No, definitely not. When we came back, I had played here during college, and I knew I would play for a year or two afterwards because a lot of my buddies were playing in the league, Castaldo included, and a couple other guys. Marcus, I think Marcus was still playing pro ball, but a couple other guys were in the league, Salazzo and them. So I knew I'd play for a couple of years just because it's something I knew it'd be hard to give up. But I would always say that I was going to give it a couple of years and then hang him up. And it just sort of worked out. I played for a couple of years, and then Adam finished school, my brother. So then he played for a couple of summers. And so I told myself, well, okay, I'll play with, Adam's here. It's fun to play with family and that kind of thing. So I did that for a couple of years. And then Justin got released, and he played with us, and so then I was like, okay, I'll play for a couple more years, and it just kind of snowballed. And yeah, and then you look back and you've been playing for like 11 years, so definitely didn't expect to be playing for this long, but I love it, and I love being out there with the guys, and I love being in the clubhouse, so I'll do it for as long as I can, I guess.
You mentioned playing with your brothers, and I know it's a unique experience to have two brothers on a team, but the Maple Leafs have been graced with having three Maras on the team. And I got a chance to talk to your brother Justin last year, and there was a quote that kind of hit home with me when we were talking about, his MVP season in 2017, and he said,
To be able to do it with this group of guys and my brothers, it would actually mean a lot more to me than winning any MVP or any championship.
Is that kind of a sentiment that all the three of you kind of echo?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, we haven't been fortunate enough to win one in the IBL, and winning one at all would be pretty cool. But yeah, winning one with my brothers would be awesome. And I'd be lying if I said it wasn't part of the reason why we're still playing. Like even the last couple of years, we just said, okay, let's give it one more go. Added a couple guys. Okay, team looks good. Let's give it another go. So it's definitely a driving factor. And yeah, I agree with his sentiment. It would be a blast. I mean, winning the IBL, like as far as hardware goes, is what it is. But it's just it'd be a blast of a time, and a fun summer, and maybe a nice cap to the career too.
Yeah, I've talked to John Salazzo about that too, and he's excited for the party in Toronto if
Yeah.
the Maple Leafs end up winning a championship. I mean, you talk about all the years that you've played here on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Is this something that, like, I know you're actually not that old now. You're 34 years old now, right? And
That's right.
I mean, is it really like one more year, or do you guys just chase this thing as long as you can until you win a championship?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question, I guess. But well, $1,000 question. Yeah, I mean, I could say that the last couple of years I've sort of said, okay, this is my last year, this is my last year, this is my last year. But I mean, winning is would be fun, but to me, one of the biggest factors is like, are the boys getting back together? And once I start hearing that, you know, Justin wants to play, and Adam wants to play, and Jordan's playing, and Salazzo's playing, and we got Marcus back, and Lewis is playing. Like once I start hearing that all the pieces are falling into place, you know, like I said, I just love being in the clubhouse. I love being on the field. These are my brothers, blood and non-blood. So, yeah, it's. Are we gonna play till we win? I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, it would be nice to get one sooner rather than later, though.
You've kind of had a unique experience where you've played in this league for so many years, and you've also played on the Toronto Maple Leafs for so many years. So you kind of have had a unique experience where you've seen this league evolve. And I've only been here for 4 years, so you would have a much better perspective on this for me. But in the 4 years I've been here, it seems like the quality of the league has really started to improve on the pitching side, on the batting side. What's kind of the biggest thing you've seen since, the 2009, 10, 11 era of the IBL to now that you've seen that's different?
Yeah, that's a good point. I would say in the 10 years I've been playing, the quality of the baseball in this league has definitely improved. And I would say if I had to pinpoint one aspect, it's hard to do because it's kind of every aspect, but I would say the the quality of the pitching has definitely gone up. Even when I started in this league, everyone had like a guy or two that was pretty good, but I think now you see every night a guy who's has an idea what he's doing. He may not have the stuff that he used to, kind of thing, but definitely has an idea what he's doing. So as a hitter, that's kind of what I've noticed as what's improved the most over the last 10 years. But in general, you're seeing a lot more local guys finish college and come playing in this league. You're seeing a lot of guys, get released from Frontier or affiliated ball, come here to play, to keep playing, to try and get back into baseball. And some have done it, and we've played with a few, Evan Elliott last year and a couple other guys in the league. So it's definitely turned into a pretty high quality level of baseball, I'd say.
Uh, Seeing all the pitchers evolve is interesting, right? A lot has changed on the mound. Something that hasn't changed is you've been consistently able to turn in a really good batting average every single year throughout pretty much right to the start of when you played in the Intercounty Baseball League. What have you had to do on your side to kind of adapt to the pitching? Because I mean, things are it's a bit faster now, right?
Yeah, you're seeing a little bit more. You're seeing a little bit more velo for sure. Um, Yeah, honestly, I've just taken pride in having the same approach day in, day out. Like I'm not the type of guy who's gonna, put up the crazy numbers. I've never been that guy, even in college or even in my younger days. I just kind of have taken pride in staying within myself and having that same approach, and getting the odd bloopy here and there, the odd punch and Judy over second base. Those always help. I joke all the time that you got to play in the league for 10 years to get a few of those bleeders. So, um, but I joke about it, but at the end of the day, you still have to have the right approach to get the ball in play and to stay on the ball and hit the ball the other way. So I've always taken pride in just having a professional approach every time I go out there, and I've been lucky enough that some of the results have come with that. But um, yeah, I don't know that I've done anything special. I just try and do me every time I'm out there.
Look, Dan, whether they're bleeders or not, you've had a chance to get over 400 of them hits in the Intercounty Baseball League. When you hear that number, what does that mean to
That means I've been playing too long,
you?
probably. Yeah, I mean, Yeah, it's like I said, and I think I've told you before. Honestly, I didn't even know I was approaching that number until I was told like a few weeks ago. So it's not definitely not something I look at or track. I'm happy. I'm happy it happened, but to be honest, it's yeah, like I guess a silver lining to playing too long in the IBL, but it'd be nice. It'd be nicer to get a ring to walk away with a ring than it would be a couple, few hundred hits.
Yeah, okay. So before I let you go, I know this team needs to win a couple more ball games to get to that IBL finals, a place that you've known maybe one too many times in your intercounty baseball league career. What needs to happen for the Maple Leafs this year to get back to the finals and maybe win it this time around?
Uh, yeah, we've definitely had like I was saying earlier, we've kind of always had a little bit of a slower start. And part of that is like, logistically getting guys on the field. Even this year, we're still short a couple guys. But the other half of that is that we're just a veteran group that knows that, in a league where 8 out of 9 teams make the playoffs, you have to be playing your best baseball in, July going into August. And we've been able to do that the last bunch of years. And that's kind of the same plan this year. Like we don't want to start this slow. But you're starting to see some of the bats come around. I think we got to, you know, defense has got to be a little bit tighter. We got to continue to have good at bats. Our pitchers are doing their thing. Teams are scoring runs on us, but we're not walking a ton of guys. We're doing the right things. And sometimes, look, baseball's tough. You got to get the bounces in order to have success. So hopefully those are going to come. But really, we're not going to, we don't change anything. We're not really a team where no one's going to come into the room and give some season-changing speech or anything. Maybe we'll get the guys together for some off-field, for some extracurriculars to get it going. But we're not really we're not looking to anyone to give us some sort of speech, even though we got a lot of veterans. We just sort of have this, quiet confidence about knowing when it's time to really buckle down, and that's the plan. So we just gotta, first and foremost, we got to get everyone in the field for every game, and then we just got to, play the game the right way. Everyone knows how. If there's any advice I give guys, it's that like everyone's played at a high level of baseball on our team, so everyone knows what to do. It's just a matter of having the focus to get it done, and then results will come.
Hey, Dan, we're looking forward to seeing how the rest of this season plays out. Best of luck the rest of the way, and thanks so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me. Take care, Thomas.
Welcome to Toronto Maple Leafs Baseball on YouTube, brought to you by MNP. Thomas West here alongside Gus Cousins. And Gus, this is a Toronto Maple Leafs team that has been scuffling of late, and it feels like this game today, after they've been blown out in their last 2 games, a chance at home against the London Majors for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And although it is still early in the season, the Leafs want to try and get home field advantage in the playoffs, and if they're going to do it, they got to start winning very soon. This might be a must-win game here today against London.
Absolutely. I mean, for years now, we've talked about the rivalry that they've had with the London Majors. We've talked about in 2021, 2022, the finals, and we've gone over that extensively. But yeah, losers of their last 5 in a row. After today, they'll be exactly 50% through the season, exactly hitting the halfway mark. And it's a very important game for them because, as we were talking about, they've been scuffling. The offense has been up and down. The pitching hasn't been there for them. And it feels like it's a bit of a must-win game, even though, like you were just saying, it's still early on, relatively speaking. It's been a slow-starting team. The players have said that to us. We've said it to you guys, and we've seen it in the past. But something different feels odd here today at the ballpark, where they really, really got to have this one if they want to turn things around soon.
Well, they have a guy on the mound that's been quite steady for them in the past. That's Jesse Hodges. Although last time out, it was a little while ago on June 14th. He played against the London Majors, and they were able to touch him up for 9 hits and 7 earned runs. They did a really good job getting to Jesse Hodges, but Hodges is also a guy that he keeps things quite simple on the mound. He knows what he needs to do. He's got a 3-pitch mix, and he's been very confident in his breaking ball in the past as well. emphasizes throwing strikes and getting the ball over the plate. And when you do that at Christie Pitts, sometimes the ball goes out of the yard. But Jesse Hodges, this feels like a good chance for him to rebound against this London Majors team.
Absolutely it does. I mean, you just mentioned how much rest he's had in between starts. He's pitched in a number of games since coming over and turning into a pitcher. He's been a very effective starter for them, and they're going to rely on him heavily moving forward. If they want to really turn things around, they're going to have to get some innings out of guys like Jesse Hodges, Dan Procopio, who will be coming back soon, and we'll touch on more about that, I'm sure, later on today. Guys like Will Alvarado, these guys, Sam Green coming back from injury, and Angel Castro, they're going to have to start getting longer and longer starts. Today, for example, the Leafs have a pretty thin bullpen. There are no Dustin Richardson isn't available, Dean Christides isn't here, Mass Luneau isn't here. They're down to 6 or 7 guys and only one lefty. So when it comes to very important games like this against really, really good teams, and we've seen it a lot lately, they need length out of their starters. And Jesse Hodges in the past has shown that he's been able to do that. So he's had some time off. He hasn't played a ton this year. He hasn't pitched a ton this year. He's seen the London team. The London team has seen him. And hopefully he can turn the corner from that last start, and a bit of a revenge game for him, because, you know, you just mentioned the stats. They're not too flattering for him last time he faced the London Majors.
Hodges has been one of the more consistent pitchers in the past for the Toronto Maple Leafs. A great chance for him to rebound, but watch for those first couple innings. He'll want to try and be as efficient as possible against this London Majors team. It's been really important for this Maple Leafs team, not only to try and get back to the IBL finals, which they've done against the London Majors, but they want to make sure that they win with the group of guys that they had. I had a great chance to chat with Dan Mara about not just winning with the Maple Leafs, but the importance of what he calls this entire team, his brothers. Take a listen. All right. And
That's right.
I mean, is it really like one more year, or do you guys just chase this thing as long as you can until you win a championship?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question, I guess. But $1,000 question. Yeah, I mean, I could say that the last couple of years I've sort of said, okay, this is my last year, this is my last year, this is my last year. But I mean, winning would be fun, but to me, one of the biggest factors is like, are the boys getting back together? And once I start hearing that, you know, Justin wants to play, and Adam wants to play, and Jordan's playing, and Salazzo's playing, and we got Marcus back, and Lewis is playing. Like, once I start hearing that all the pieces are falling into place, you know, like I said, I just love being in the clubhouse. I love being on the field. These are my brothers, blood and non-blood. So, yeah, it's. Are we gonna play till we win? I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, it would be nice to get one sooner rather than later, though.
Oh, welcome back to Dominico Field. Thomas West here alongside Gus Cousins, getting you set for the Toronto Maple Leafs in London Majors here at Christie Pitts. And this is a beautiful afternoon for a ball game. We've had some scorchers in the last couple days, but the weather looks great today. A little bit of cloud cover. It's not too warm. And the Maple Leafs, though, although it's a beautiful day for a ball game, they might be feeling the pressure of trying to get a win. This was their last time out, and the Maple Leafs really need a win here today. They lost 11-0 against the Barrie Baycats, and this was a game that got away from them a little bit at the end. They kept it close, but definitely some defense needs to be tightened up, Gus, and that was a big part of how the Barrie Baycats took the lead early on.
It did, 4 errors, and I mean, it feels like we're just repeating the same thing all season long here, talking about the defense and what needs to be improved for them. When you have, we've talked about it extensively, when they have one or fewer errors, one or no errors, they win. When they have one or more errors, two or more errors, they lose. It's as simple as that. 4 errors that game, 3 from the infield, and it's just, you couldn't get the offense going, the defense wasn't there, the pitching wasn't there, and like you said, they kept it close at the beginning and then it fell apart later on. It's their 9th consecutive loss to Barrie, dating all the way back to 2022, which isn't a very flattering stat if you think about it. But yeah, if they can control the defensive miscues and the bats can get back to where we've seen them be the last 2 or 3 weeks for the most part, then they're a good enough team to pull out some wins. But when they aren't hitting and the pitching is there and the defense is faltering, it's hard to win when all three facets of those games are not clicking.
You had to pick one issue with a team. Having to shore up the defense probably wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. It's good to see some of the bats starting to turn around for the Maple Leafs, the one a little bit more on the pitching side of things. But just to put things into perspective a little bit, we haven't seen the Maple Leafs start out very well to a season in a long time. In fact, only once in the last 4 seasons, 2 of which have seen the Maple Leafs go to the IBL finals, and last year in the semifinals with the loss to the Welland Jackfish, have they been above 500. Now, look back to the 2021-2022 seasons. Both seasons they went to the finals. Only one of those 2 seasons were they over 500 at the 20-game mark, which we are calling the halfway point. Obviously, after today, they'll be exactly at the halfway point. But, Gus, when you kind of put things into perspective, this kind of shows that the Maple Leafs is a little bit of a worse start than what we've seen in the past. But just because they've started off slowly does not mean that they're not going to turn it around, because we've seen them do it in the past.
Yeah, exactly. And the sentiment has been echoed throughout all the veterans on this team. You talked to Dan Mara this past week. We've talked to Jonathan Solazzo, Jordan Costaldo. The names are endless, and they all echo the exact same sentiment, which is they know that they're a slow starting team, and they know what they've done in years past, and they've known how to progress past it once you get through the halfway point of the season. So like you can see on the screen in front of you, yeah, they've only been above 500 for one of those seasons, and it was when they went to the IBL finals. So clearly the talent is there. That's not the question. Everybody knows that they have the ability to hit and to pitch and to play defense on their best of days. It's just coming down to consistency. But yeah, there is nobody more confident on this team, like you were talking to Dan Mara, than the guys themselves. They know they're going to come out of this at some point. They know that they're going to have to turn it on in the second half, and they know they're going to have to turn it on in the playoffs. It's just a matter of getting there and having everybody click at the same time for them.
We're going to take a quick break on Maple Leafs Baseball on YouTube and be right back.
Welcome back to Dominico Field here on a beautiful Sunday as the Leafs get ready to take on the London Majors. And before we start this one, just an updated look at the standings entering today. The Welland Jackfish and the London Majors, of course, at the top of the standings. Barrie's up there too. And then there's kind of a middle of the pack there with Guelph, Hamilton, Chatham. They've been up and down. We've talked a lot about how Guelph started the season 4-0, and then they've struggled in the midway point. Now they're turning it back on. The Hamilton Cardinals have been a very bipolar team. They've been up and down throughout. And then, unfortunately for us, the Toronto Maple Leafs find themselves in 8th place, right around the halfway point of the season, right ahead of the Kitchener Panthers, a half game ahead of them. The Panthers have a game in hand. And, you know, these standings are going to change, but right at the top, you know, everyone expected the Welland Jackfish to be up there, the London Majors to be up there. The Barrie Baycats are always a good team. And so right now, there's about 3 or 4 teams. I'll throw the Guelph Royals in there too, vying for that #1 spot. Welland has been undefeated at home. That's been their biggest strength. London has, as we'll talk further about, beat up on teams under 500. The Baycats, the Royals have terrific offenses. The Cardinals are the best defensive team in the league. And I think the biggest surprise here is the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers, who have really come around nicely with their offense. In Spencer Marcus and Seth Strong leading them and having Aiden Ryan start for a number of games for them as well. But as we head into today's game, you know, we've talked about it pregame, Thomas and I. the importance of today's game. And with the London Majors where they are in the standings and the Leafs as well, you got to think, Thomas, that like we said, today is maybe not a must-win, but it's pretty darn close to it.
If I'm a player on the Toronto Maple Leafs side of things, the last thing I want to do is start trying to get it all back in one swing, because that's a really good way to dig yourself into a deep hole. So for the Maple Leafs, and I talked to John Salazzo about this before the game, he wants to take this one game at a time, one at-bat at a time. And it sounds cliche, but for the Maple Leafs, that's really the only way to do it, as the first pitch from Jesse Hodges is fouled off. Back to our left.
And it's absolutely the right mentality to have. You know, you like you said, you can't go out there and win 8 games in one day and get right back into the thick of things. If you want to look at it and say, hey, we now want to turn a corner, this is where we think the corner will be turned, then fine, you take it today's game if it goes well and you build off of that, but you can't go out there thinking that you can get it all back right away.
Next pitch fouled off, so Jesse Hodges quickly ahead 0-2. This is Ty Mosher leading things off for the London Majors, hitting .381 coming into this game, but hasn't had a ton of at-bats this season, just 21 on the year. But he has been on fire when he has been in the lineup for the London Majors. Behind 0-2 here against Jesse Hodges. And it's just high, an off-speed pitch from Hodges, and he wanted it. Started walking off the mound, and it's 1-2.
And one of the things that's going to be really important for Hodges today is to keep that pitch count under control and let him go deep in this one.
Yeah. Strike 3 called, and Jesse Hodges has his first strikeout of the afternoon. So taking a look at the lineup for the London Majors, that was Ty Mosher leading things off with the strikeout, then Caden Cardoso, Starling Joseph, Byron Reichton, Edward DeOlio behind the plate. The DH is Gebson Krezeminski, Victor Plaz, Tommy Reyes-Cruz, and Champ Garner. All bats that have been good for the London Majors, and they haven't had a lot of bats in the lineup this year. Just 13 different players have been in the lineup for the London Majors this season, which I think goes a long way towards that kind of championship mentality that they've had themselves in for the last 4 years.
Absolutely. Everybody's bought in completely. They have the fewest hitters that have played in games this year. They have the fewest pitchers that have played in the game this year, any games this year, throughout the entire IBL. They've been very, very consistent in their offense and their pitching. They've been a very fun team to watch.
The 1-0 is in there for a strike 1-1. The first pitch nearly hit Caden Cardoso. And that's not to knock any other team in the Intercounty Baseball League, because sometimes teams just don't have the luxury of having guys here every game. Obviously, many players, actually pretty much all players in the Intercounty Baseball League have jobs outside of playing in the IBL.
Yeah, and London's one of the youngest teams in the IBL. They have a terrific amount of young players that have done very, very well for them this year.
Count 2-2 here on Caden Cardoso. And the pitch is fouled off. Cardoso trying to extend the pitch count of Jesse Hodges here with this extended at-bat. The 2-2 is fouled off once again. Starlin Joseph is on deck for the London Majors. Joseph has also been good this season, hitting over 300, and still a young guy in his mid-20s on this London Majors team, but someone who's had some great experience over his baseball career. Here's a soft line drive towards center field over the head of Jose Vinicio, in for a base hit, and the first hit of the day goes to Caden Cardoso with the soft single into center field.
Yeah, Cardoso gets his hitting streak out of the way bright and early today. And, you know, it was a good pitch from Hodges there. He got it inside on him, jammed him a little bit, and he just, using that upper body strength, just flared it out to center field. It was a good pitch, good spot. Unfortunate result for Jesse Hodges.
So 1 on, and with Starlin Joseph at the plate, Jesse Hodges hoping for a ground ball double play if he can. That would be a good way to efficiently get out of this inning.
And one thing that I'm liking right away from watching Jesse Hodges today is he's throwing a lot of strikes. He's getting a lot of weak contact on foul balls. Even the hit just given up right there was a weak contact looper up the middle. He's throwing a lot of strikes early, which is going to be very important if he wants to keep that pitch count in check.
The 1-0, this one's hit in the air towards left center field. It's pretty deep, and it's got a chance at the wall, and it's gone. That ball stayed in the air. It was a mile high, and it just finds its way over the wall in left field, and the London Majors have taken a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, he hung a curveball. Joseph waited for it, and I guarantee the wind helped him out on that one. But like you said, it was up there for a long time, and it's unfortunately something we've seen all too much of recently here, is teams well and Guelph, London now, jumping on starters early, and the Leafs are behind before they even have a chance to bat.
Jesse Hodges probably on the mound, a bit frustrated that that went into the ballpark because he thought it was a fly ball right away. But it just kept carrying and carrying until it got out of the yard. But credit to Sterling Joseph, he stood in the batter's box and watched that one all the way over the wall. He had a pretty good idea of where that one was going to end up. Byron Reichton hits one on the ground towards first base, but that one's going to roll into foul territory. So the London Majors jump on the Maple Leafs early. It's 2-0, and for a Maple Leafs offense that's had a bit of trouble scoring runs lately, they have their work cut out for them here in the first inning. Hodges delivers low with a breaking ball. Working quickly, the 1-2. Way outside, 2-2. It's not Justin Mara behind the plate today. Lachlan Maud is getting the start for the Maple Leafs. And there's a swing and a miss, strike 3, 2 away. And Lachlan Maud and Jesse Hodges are on the same page right now. Maud is throwing down the sign and Hodges is throwing the pitch. And aside from the one curveball that hung over the middle of the plate, things have been working good between the new tandem.
Yeah, it's just giving Justin Mara a day off his feet. He's caught a lot lately behind the plate. Maud is more than capable behind the dish. And we've talked about it a lot, letting the veterans have days off here and there to keep them healthy, keep them in it. Mara's bat still stays in the lineup today.
Hodges' 1-0 pitch is upstairs 2-0. Eduardo D'Olio at the plate for the Majors. The 2-0, that one misses 3-0. Eduardo D'Olio has tremendous power for the Majors from the catcher position. But we haven't seen it a ton this season, just the 2 home runs on the year. That one's well outside, ball 4. And the Majors have a runner on with 2 away here in the top of the first. The Maple Leafs defense goes Ryan Dos Santos in left field, Connor Lewis in center, and Marcus Connect in right. John Salazzo is at third base with Jose Vinicio at short, Dan Mara at second, and Jordan Castaldo playing first base. And as mentioned, Lachlan Maud catching Jesse Hodges. And here's a pop-up. This should get Hodges out of the inning to Jose Vinicio at short, backpedals a couple steps and makes the catch, and the inning is over. But not before the London Majors tack on a couple runs. It's Sterling Joseph who hits another home run. That one went out to deep left center field, and the London Majors take a 2-0 lead over the Maple Leafs. We'll be right back. Castaldo hits it into the outfield, down for a base hit, make it 48 games in a row getting on base, and it's going to score a run for the Maple Leafs as well. They lead 3-0, and that one is a double. So Damon Toppoli step aside. A new third place in the Intercounty Baseball League doubles leaderboard belongs to Jordan Castaldo. Oh, welcome back to Dominico Field. Toronto Maple Leafs and London Majors here on a Sunday afternoon. And for London, they have a guy on the mound that has been quite solid for them in the past. And the 2022 season, which was the last year that he played aside from this year, an ERA of 1.56 and a 10-2 record, easily the best pitcher in the Inter-County Baseball League. Gus, things haven't gone quite that way this year for Jose Arias, but he's still been quite consistent with that ERA just under 5.
Absolutely, and I mean, you don't have to look very far back to see just how fantastic he's been on the mound for them. Even just going back to his last start, 7 innings of quality baseball tossed by Jose Arias. You can toss those numbers right out the window as far as I'm concerned to start the season. His track record is so good for them that there's not a doubt in my mind that he's going to pretty consistently be one of the better pitchers in the second half for them, alongside the likes of someone like Travis Keys for them, who's been fantastic. And he's been a guy who has been rock solid for them. He'll eat innings. Everyone on this London Major squad, it seems like, will eat innings for them. But he's been very good, and I expect him to be very good today.
Yeah, Travis Keys got the short end of the stick last time out, didn't he?
He absolutely did. 8 innings of 1-run ball and you lose. That's Jacob deGrom-esque right there, getting no run support. You got to feel for anybody who pitches that well and gets a loss. Life ain't fair.
Jacob deGrom didn't have the luxury of Grimace in the stands. So here's Jordan Castaldo leading things off for the Maple Leafs. Has been in the leadoff spot for quite a while now for Toronto, and it's worked well. The Maple Leafs haven't won a ton of games lately. In fact, they're on a 5-game losing skid, but the one constant for the Maple Leafs is that Jordan Castaldo has been able to produce ever since hopping up into the leadoff spot. Has leveled the count now 1-1 with Arias on the mound. And Castaldo hits this one on the ground to second base. And plenty of time to first to record the out number 1. Taking a look at the lineup for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Jordan Castaldo in the leadoff spot with Jose Vanicio hitting second. That's the first time we've seen that from Jose Vanicio this year. Marcus Connect is playing right field and batting third. Then Marcus Connect in right field. John Salazzo at third base. Justin Mara is the DH today. Ryan Dos Santos in left field. Dan Mara is at second. Connor Lewis in center field with Lachlan Maud batting ninth and doing the catching. And Maud, wait for him to come up. He is a big presence there in the batter's box for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I don't know if we've seen him unlock his full potential yet, but he's a guy that many expect to be in the D1 conversation in the near future. This one's hit on the ground to second base again. Throw to first. 2 plays for Tyler Mosher there at second base, and that's out number 2. And Jesse Hodges was hoping to be the one who was efficient with his pitch count, but so far it's Arias who has not needed very many pitches to get the first 2 outs. And much to our surprise, the rain has started to fall down here at Dominico Field.
Yeah, you look up and down this London Majors pitching staff, there's not a lot of strikeouts there. There are a lot of efficient innings and efficient outs, and a lot of 1 strikeout per inning, 9 strikeouts per 9 from Travis Keys, Jose Arias in his past. But there's not a ton of blow it by you power there, but there's a lot of really good control and really good movement, and that's how they have their starters work so deep almost every single time out. They played 17 games this year. 12 of them, their starters have gone 5 or more innings. They've been fantastic at being efficient, which has been a very important part to why they are 12-5 at this point in the season.
Sounds like a team that's set up very well for the playoffs. Here's the 1-0, and that's swung right through by Marcus Connect. Counts 1-1. Marcus Connect, a former 3rd-round draft pick of the Toronto Blue Jays back in 2010, and has got the bat going this year for the Maple Leafs, hitting .293, but was off to a dreadful start. But he has been hitting the ball very well of late. Got some power in that bat as well. Marcus Connect has hits in 10 of his last 11 games after going 0 for 17 to start the year. Count 2-2 on Connect.
Yeah, it took him a while to get his swing back from where it's been a number of years in the IBL prior. But I think that just has a lot to do with him not being around, and he's found it once again.
Connect hits one on the ground, foul down the third base side.
talked to Marcus Connect a couple games ago, and he said every single at-bat that he was taking early in the season wasn't all for naught. He said he learned something every single at-bat, and that's what a lot of veteran hitters do, and he kind of figured out his swing again, and looks like it might be here to stay for Connect. He fouls this one off. Marcus Connect also does quite a bit of coaching, which he said has helped him out on the hitting side of things, but when I asked him that question, he kind of shrugged it off as well, and he said there's nothing that's more valuable than going out and just taking at-bats to learn about what you need to do at the plate. The 2-2. Connect lines one foul off the pitcher's mound in the Leafs dugout.
Yeah, because you can talk about how you want to perfect your swing, the art of swinging the bat, all you want. You can look at video, you can look at what the technology says, but until you get out there and consistently swing and miss, pop up balls, ground out, you learn more that way than any technology can provide you.
Connect chops one foul right at home plate.
And even just here, I mean, he's putting up a heck of an at-bat after 2 quick ground ball outs. Fouling off, I believe that's the 4th foul ball of this at-bat. The Leafs as a whole have been very, very good at working pitchers over, getting walks, long at-bats, tiring them out.
The 2-2 is up high, 3-2. Marcus Connect is a guy who averages less than a strikeout a game over his Intercounty Baseball League career, but not a guy who likes to walk a lot. He does like to swing the bat. Here's the full count pitch from Arias. And it finds the top of the zone, strike 3 called. A quick start to the inning for Arias. Marcus Connect makes him work, but in the end, Arias wins the battle. 2-0 London Majors as we head to the second inning here at Dominico Field. Taking a look here at some of the splits between the Toronto Maple Leafs and London Majors, and you can see a lot of similarities in some of these categories, but obviously drastically different records between these two teams. And the thing that the Maple Leafs want to clean up is get a bit better pitching and a little bit less errors on the defensive side of the baseball. But the power numbers for the London Majors haven't been particularly high this year. They've just hit the 15 home runs, 16 now, I guess, with the one by Starlin Joseph here today. Jesse Hodges' first pitch here in the top of the second inning. The wind is now blowing in from center field. It was coming kind of out towards left field last inning, but we've got a little bit of weather coming in. Just kind of spitting rain here. It's cooled down quite a bit and got full cloud cover, but this wind is not in the hitter's favor quite as much anymore. Hodges ahead 0-2. And he misses outside with the breaking ball.
Yeah, and like you said, with showing the difference in stats there, the offense for both teams have actually been very, very similar. It's just the difference in pitching, which is why you see the massive difference in record, as well as the defensive side of the game, too. Neither team has hit a ton in terms of power. They've scored roughly the same amount of runs. London's, of course, played in fewer games, but it's the pitching and the defense that separates these two teams, and that's about all.
On the ground to third, Salazzo takes it on a short hop, throws a long way to first, and plenty of time, and right on the money. There's some defense from the Maple Leafs, and there's one away.
Played it very well there, backed up a couple steps. We've seen the arm strength of Jonathan Salazzo for years. That's never been the issue, but a bounce right to him hits him right in the chest, and that's why if you have that arm strength, you can back up 1 or 2 steps on those, and then just a strike right across the diamond to Jordan Castaldo.
This one's head out towards left field, pretty deep, and that one's going to fall in fair territory. Tommy Reyes-Cruz is into second base with a stand-up double, and the London Majors are threatening again here in the top of the second.
Yeah, good piece of hitting right there from Tommy Reyes-Cruz. Taking the ball the other way, first pitch swing, and it's just slicing and slicing and slicing some more away from Ryan Dos Santos out in left field, about 5 or 10 feet from the foul line, and stays just inside the foul pole. And once again, the London Majors are testing Jesse Hodges here.
Champ Garner at the plate now. The 1-0, this one's hit on the ground. Champ Garner has had some experience in the NCAA and the NAIA. 3 seasons playing at Benedict College, 2 at Middle Georgia in the NAIA, and overall, 484 games of college baseball experience. The 1-1. This one's fisted towards John Salazzo. He jumps and makes the catch. Kind of a weird ball. It was hit off a very soft part of the bat, and John Salazzo had to be careful of that one as it died on that sinking line drive towards him.
Yeah, sometimes when you jam someone so good like that, it creates kind of a knuckling effect, and I'm sure you've seen it playing the outfield as well, which is it looks like it's just going to be, it's a routine, soft line drive, soft pop-up from the outside point of view, but when it's coming right at you, it's knuckling.
Back to the top of the order now. Tyler Mosher trying to knock in a run with 2 outs. He's got Tommy Reyes-Cruz on second base.
Yeah, and Mosher, like you were saying, has hit well. He's only had 1 extra base hit, though, in his start with the London Majors this season. So the power hasn't been shown, but he's been getting on base an awful lot. 7 walks as well. He's a prototypical top-of-the-lineup hitter. He's fast, he gets on base, he hits it all over the field. The power hasn't shown up yet, like I was just saying, just 1 double.
Yeah, 7 walks and just 21 at-bats coming into this game. Behind 0-2, he struck out in his last at-bat against Jesse Hodges. And Hodges delivers way high, 1-2. Tyler Mosher got the start last game in the London Majors 8-0 win against the Guelph Royals, and walked 3 times, and that 1 double came in that game that you mentioned. The 1-2 pitch, that one's high again. Counts now 2-2.
Yeah, in many ways, he's similar to Jordan Castaldo in how well he sees pitches, how his walk percentage, but in many ways, he's very, very different as well with the lack of power.
And Jesse Hodges got him again. So that's going to end the inning. The swinging strikeout by Mosher. This time, Jesse Hodges strands the runner on second base and holds the lead at 2 for the London Majors. We'll be right back here on Toronto Maple Leafs Baseball.
The best of the Intercounty Baseball League descend on the Rose City on July 20th as the 2023 Dominico Cup champion Welland for Intercounty Baseball League All-Star Showdown and Home Run Derby. For ticket information, visit wellandjackfish.com/all-star or call 905-735-9834. Welland Jackfish Baseball. Fans first, fun always. Get hooked.
What a start to the season it's been for Seth Strong with 10 home runs for the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers early on, and not only the home run king candidate, but also a guy who is in the mix for a triple crown with his over 400 batting average. And many Maple Leafs and London Majors trying to get into that conversation as well, as 4 of them are in those 8 that are tied with 4 home runs. This was one of the guys with 4 home runs on the season, John Salazzo, facing the righty Arias to lead off the inning, and the first pitch is a breaking ball, and had John Salazzo fooled as he swings over the top of it. Salazzo hits a high chopper. Arias fields it, flips to first in time to get the out. 1 away.
Yeah, I mean, already we've seen a lot of really soft contact, and that's what the London Majors are best at on the mound, is inducing that quick, soft, efficient contact. And 3 balls that we've seen pulled so far by the Leafs, and 3 weak ground balls to the right side.
That brings Justin Mara to the plate. And talking to his brother Dan before the game, I went back on a quote that Justin Mara had last season as he foul tips this one at home plate. And Justin Mara is a guy who's had a lot of accomplishments in his Intercounty Baseball League career, but he said none of those really mean anything compared to what it would mean for him to win here with his 2 other brothers on the Maple Leafs. And Dan Mara echoed that sentiment and said, you know, everyone on this team, it's like his brothers, whether it's his blood brothers or not. And this is a Maple Leafs group that's been in a bit of a hole lately, but I think the fact that they're all so bonded in that Maple Leafs clubhouse is going to go a long way to helping them get things back on track. And this is a guy that they're going to need here in Justin Mara, who's usually their catcher, behind 0-2. And that one's bounced in the dirt. That one was about 56 feet from Jose Arias.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you have such a veteran group of guys. They've been around the block so many times, playing IBL finals and the playoffs every year, that everyone is bought in.
The 1-2, that one hits the exact same spot out in front of home plate. Both of them spiked by Arias, and the count's now 2-2. So,
and I mean, it stretches back to at the end of last year, you know, rumors that some of the guys weren't coming back, and then as it turns out, the whole slew of them come back, and then you throw in Marcus Connect as well, who's returning after a year off, and it's a great group in that clubhouse.
2-2. In the dirt again. Arias does not have a good feel for that breaking ball in this at-bat here against Justin Mara. And it's this is not a broadcast term, but I think it's a bit of FOMO on the side of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Fear of missing out for anyone who hasn't heard of that term. The 3-2, and this one's crushed deep to right field. Is it going to stay fair? It is, and it bounces in, or it isn't, and it bounces in foul territory. That one also did not have home run distance, and Mara might be fortunate that ball wasn't caught out there in right field.
Yeah, the London Majors bullpen didn't offer a whole lot of help to Byron Reichstein out there. He was gunning it right towards them, and nobody was moving. That ball landed about 4 feet inside the fence.
This time he chops it towards first base. Cardoso had a bit of a miscommunication with Arias, but in the end steps on the bag for out number 2.
And it's quickly becoming a theme here today. You know, with Arias is throwing strikes a lot, the Leafs are hitting a lot of them. They're just beating them right into the ground. With the lefty-heavy lineup, as we've said week after week, when you face a righty pitcher like this at home and the wind can carry these balls, you got to get it up into that airstream. Hitting it on the ground, bouncing it one hoppers to the first baseman, it ain't going to work.
First pitch outside to Ryan Dos Santos. Dos Santos hitting .278 this season with the Maple Leafs. Has cooled off just a little bit of late.
Yeah, he's one of the 2 Leafs that are leading the All-Star voting.
Yeah.
That we want to send down a well, and Jordan Castaldo is also leading in the first base category. Dos Santos is one of the 3 outfielders. There's a number of guys on the squad I think are more than deserving of it. But they're the 2 leading right now.
I don't think John Salazzo was included in that graphic that we saw posted.
He was not.
By the Intercounty Baseball League, but I have the numbers, and I happen to know that he is in 4th place right now or 5th place for infielders. So if you're a Maple Leaf fan out there, he's very close to being in that conversation for one of the starters.
Yeah, and another guy I've been looking at a lot. I mean, he hasn't pitched in a ton of games, but Dustin Richardson, I mean, he's been fantastic when he has pitched. Braden Farrington, reliever for the London Majors, is...
Ryan Dos Santos gets into this one. He hits it to left field, and it's gone. A little bit of Oppo Taco for Ryan Dos Santos. He hits it out to left field, and the Leafs have cut the lead to 1.
And that's just a perfect swing right there. If you're not going to pull it, you want to get it up into that jet stream going on left field. We saw it with a couple of the hits that the London Majors had in that first inning before the Starling Joseph home run, and it's just a perfect swing. You take it the other way, you know it's going to carry. It always does. Good things happen when you hit line drives, and for Ryan Dos Santos, if he can get back on his roll, hitting like that, getting it up into the air, great things happen when you can do that, and we've seen it year after year, and just a great swing right there from Mr. Dos Santos.
That was a severe case of taking what the pitcher gives you. Got an outside pitch, and he took the ball the other way. So Dan Mara comes to the plate with 2 outs and nobody on. And Mara takes a strike. The count is 1-1. 0-2, I should say, on Mara. That one misses outside 1-2. Now, Dan Mara is behind in the count, but something that almost never happens when Dan Mara is at the plate is striking out. And I looked into the numbers. Last year he had a career high in strikeouts. He had 15 the entire season. Here's the 1-2.
Of course he strikes out now, though.
Wow.
Now that we're talking about it.
On a pitch that looked way outside. The catcher de Olio had to stab at it to his left, but that is going to get the London Majors out of the inning and a strikeout for Dan Mara. So we'll take a quick break and be right back here from Dominico Field. Well, coming into this game, Caden Cardoso had been on fire. He was on a 17-game hit streak, with his hit in his last at-bat in the first inning has now extended that to an 18-game hit streak. And 18 games is an entire Inter-County Baseball League career. So what we're saying is that he's hitting every single game in his IBL career. He extended that in his last at-bat, and boy, he's just been fantastic over that stretch. And batting average of .336 and OPS over 1,000, which had dipped into the 900s after he stopped hitting home runs. He had 3 home runs in his first 4 games, and then he homered again last game against the Guelph Royals.
Yeah, the London Majors would not be anywhere this season without Caden Cardoso. I mean, he's been fantastic. He's been nothing short of a terrific 2-hole hitter. He's played quality defense at first base for them. He's been a very, very welcome addition to a team that was good without him, and they're even better with him.
This one's hit pretty well out to left field, and this one's got a chance, and it's gone. Second hit of the game, 5th home run of the season for Caden Cardoso, and he has pushed himself into the top 5 in IBL home runs, and the London Majors lead 3-1.
Yeah, and left it out over the plate, and with a hitter as good as Cardoso, I mean, it's the 3rd ball we've seen just drilled to left field. There's clearly a strategy involved to that. Both teams, we saw it with Ryan Dos Santos, and now Cardoso, Tommy Reyes Cruz when he hit the double, but balls are flying, they always do at Christie Pitts.
Caden Cardoso came to the London Majors after playing with the Antelope Valley Pioneers, where he was really good. Hit 16 home runs, a .450 batting average, and boy, he is carrying those numbers into the Inter-County Baseball League. And after he had a streak early on in the season, actually that started in the 2nd game of the season for the London Majors, where he had home runs in 3 consecutive games, he has started a new home run streak. He's hit it in 2 in a row. The 1-1 to Starlin Joseph is fouled off 0-2.
Yeah, and the Leafs and Majors have played in two games so far before today this season, both going to the Majors 7-5 each game. No home runs were hit in either of those games. 1 in London, 1 in Toronto here, and now we've seen 3 today already. Power's coming around for both teams. We talked about it right off the top, how they don't have massive power numbers, but of late, they've been a lot better on both sides.
Big reason for that is because Starlin Joseph hasn't been hitting home runs at the clip that the London Majors are used to, but he is still putting together many professional at-bats, and might have something to do with the fact that he was a professional for 5 years in the Texas Rangers organization, most recently playing in low A ball with Spokane. And the 2-2, Joseph has a big hack at it and just gets a piece.
Yeah, I mean, we're used to seeing big numbers out of Reichstein. We're used to be seeing big numbers out of DeOlio, who only has 4 to start this year. I mean, now Cardoso leads the team with 5, but he went into today with just 4. Joseph went in today with just 2. Now he is 3.
Joseph hits it on the ground. Big high hop for Jose Vinicio. Whips to first in time, 1 away.
And if either of these teams can just get rolling in the second half, and I mean, we saw it last year, if you get into the playoffs hot and you are hitting as the playoffs start, you are in a much better position than most. Win, loss, whatever, going into it. It's, you know, it's how hot what have you done for me lately? And if you've been hitting a lot lately, well, the standings don't mean a whole lot in the playoffs with shortened series.
Byron Reichstein was off to a good start to the season, but he hasn't done much lately in the lineup for the London Majors. Went 0 in each of his last 2 games, and now he pops this one up on the left side. John Salazzo right on the third base bag, makes the catch in foul territory, and there's 2 away. And now we're starting to see a lot of soft contact and hitters getting really jammed against Jesse Hodges as he starts to settle in here in the top of the 3rd inning.
It always worries me when we have a lefty power hitter come up here at Christie Pitts and we say, hey, he hasn't done a whole lot lately. I get flashbacks to Josh Garton weeks ago.
Oh, wasn't he fun though? Obviously,
he's terrific.
Obviously not great for the Maple Leafs because he hit 2 home runs and they got outslugged 15-12 in that ball game, in big part to Josh Garton. But he hit back-to-back home runs in his first 2 at-bats, and then do you remember what he did in his next at-bat coming up?
I don't recall exactly. I want to say he struck out and took a seat.
No. he tried to bunt his way on down the
right,
left field line.
right.
And everyone was laughing. He was having a chuckle in the dugout, and I think he actually did strike out in that at bat. So you're right. And the Bushmen were chanting, "Take a seat." So what did he do? He sat right down, right on home plate. There's a line drive up the middle by Edward D'Olio, and he has another hit today. Actually, he walked in his last at bat, second time on base. So with 2 outs, Gibson Kresminski comes to the plate.
And that was not a cheap shot at all. That ball was ripped right back up the middle, about a foot away from Hodges, sticking his glove out there and getting it. He tried to jab at it, just went right by him, and no play, obviously, for Dan Marr. It was too far up the middle. It's a big out here. You limit the damage.
Kresminski was scoring to bunt, pulled the bat back, and took a strike. He's 0 for 1 today, hitting .314 on the season. And Eduardo D'Olio is a guy that the London Majors want to get going, hitting just .236 on the year. So that's a big hit for him as he stands on first base. But with D'Olio, his value isn't just offensive. He's excellent behind the plate for the Majors as well.
I mean, we saw it just earlier on this game with 3 straight blocks from Jose Arias when he threw 3 straight balls to Justin Mara. He's rock solid behind the plate.
Smashed to left, but foul. Gibson Kresminski has a lot of hits this year, a lot of them singles. Just 2 extra base hits. And Maple Leafs will take a bit of comfort in that with the below average speed with D'Olio on first base. And there's strike 3 called over the outside corner. A nasty breaking ball that time from Jesse Hodges, and he gets himself out of the inning once again. The London Majors, though, do take the lead via the long ball once again. They lead 3-1 over the Toronto Maple Leafs. We'll be right back here from Dominico Field.
It was a good start for me. Just 4 innings, ease into it. I mean, I wanted to go more, but the coaching staff and some of the guys said, hey, take it easy. We want you to pitch more this year instead of running out 80, 100 pitches right off the bat and then you're sore. So I felt good out there.
This season, you're starting out the year pitching. Last year, you kind of started in midway through. Was there anything different in the offseason you did to prepare to be on the mound?
I threw a lot of BP while I was coaching. No, I threw more consistent bullpens and tried to take care of my arm a little bit more, knowing that I was going to be pitching a little bit more this year. But no, just throwing my pens, throwing BP, keeping the arm loose.
I know it's been a bit of a slow start for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I know it's also a very long season. What's kind of the mindset, or how do you look at this start?
I mean, we're competing, so you can take that right off the board right there. Like, we're going out and we're giving everything we got every time we get on the field. Things will click, right? A lot of people in baseball, it's a long season, it's a grind, it's a sport of failure. You can't click the panic button yet. So we'll just keep competing. A couple bounces, couple pitches, couple balls fall our way, and we're off to the races.
Back here at Dominico Field, taking a look at the ERA leaders in the Intercounty Baseball League. Jacob Cush has been so good in that #1 spot with the 1.88 ERA, but it was Victor Payano who had a great start last time out for the London Majors, improved that ERA, and he looks like maybe the most dangerous lefty in the Intercounty Baseball League this season. And he's a big arm, and if the Maple Leafs end up playing the London Majors in the playoffs, he is going to cause them fits with all those lefty bats in the lineup. We saw it on opening day. Connor Lewis hits one on the ground. This one's to shortstop. Long throw to first, and it's going to get away. Connor Lewis will hold his ground there at first base, and he is aboard with what'll probably be an infield single.
Yeah, it would have been a tough play with a long throw there to get Lewis, who runs pretty well anyways. But yeah, I mean, you look at, the pitching, just the straight up pitching that the London Majors have acquired over the last year or so. I mean, to me, Travis Keys is one of the funnest guys in the IBL to watch pitch. He's just so darn good coming from the left side. I love a good lefty pitcher. and he's just been fantastic to watch. And unfortunately for the Leafs, he's done well against them too. But he's been so good.
Lachlan Maud goes after the first pitch and pops it up. You know who else has been really good? And I know Tommy Reyes-Cruz just bounced that throw over to first base. Tommy Reyes-Cruz has only made one error at shortstop all season for the London Majors. And we haven't got the official scoring yet, but I think that's an infield hit. So
that'll 100%.
That's not going to be an error. The youngster, the 19-year-old Lachlan Maud, is at the plate for the Maple Leafs. And he is, I think his big frame and what looks like he has a lot of power is obviously exciting for the Maple Leafs. But I think the speculation might be true. This is a guy who looks like he has a lot of potential, and now he's still very young, and he's going to get diced up by some of these crafty veterans in the Intercounty Baseball League a couple of times. But this is an exciting player for the Maple Leafs, and a guy who looks like he has taken the secondary catching position here this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a very small sample size, but it's just been all positive. There's been nothing really that we've seen. He hasn't looked out of place at all. He's had some really good at-bats, taking tough pitches like he just did there. And, I mean, the size, of course, helps him out. I mean, he's 19 and he's huge. He's an intimidating at-bat. I don't care if you're Jose Arias or Travis Keys or Ben Abram, who's also large. You see a guy that big in the batter's box, he could do some damage.
He swings and misses for strike 3. That has been the one thing that he struggled with a little bit. Now that's 7 strikeouts and 17 at-bats for Lachlan Maud. But he had a great game against Brantford, which myself and Rob Vona went down and chatted with him after the game, and we were so impressed by just the poise that he had, and it was funny too. He had one of the best quotes that we've ever heard coming out of a post-game interview when he was catching Angel Castro. This one's hit on the ground to first base, a high hop, and the only play is going to be to first, so Connor Lewis will advance to second base. Lachlan Maud, after that game, was less than half the age of Angel Castro, who's 41, and Lachlan is 19. And his quote was, what was it? He said,
trust him twice as much.
Yeah,
go based by age.
Yeah, he should trust Angel Castro twice as much if it goes by age. Apparently they were not on the same page a lot to start the game. Like, there was a lot of shaking off, but he said it was all good. He understands. Angel Castro obviously has had some great baseball experience playing with the Oakland Athletics in Major League Baseball. So
yeah, you ought to trust anybody who's pitched in the majors.
Yeah. And there's also a bit of a language barrier there as well.
Yeah.
Angel Castro, he speaks English, but when we've done interviews with him, it's been through a translator. The 0-1 chopped towards first, but foul. So this is a real good opportunity for Jose Vinicio to start to get the bat going. We've seen signs of it, but that traditional 2 spot, at least not in this day in baseball, but back in the day, has been the guy who likes to bunt and likes to swing the bat a lot, doesn't take a lot of walks, good at moving runners over. Well, that's Jose Vinicio. And he swings and misses at this one for strike 3. Another strikeout for Arias. He strands the runner on second base, and Connor Lewis and the London Majors hold their lead at 2. It's 3-1 over the Maple Leafs. We'll be right back as Toronto Maple Leafs Baseball on YouTube, brought to you by MNP. So we talked to Dan Marr on the latest episode of Leafs Weekly, and he had a great quote about putting into perspective what's happening on this Maple Leafs team this season. He said, "No one is going to come into the room and give some season-changing speech or anything. We have a sort of quiet confidence about knowing when we really have to buckle down, and that's the plan for the Maple Leafs this season." Now the rain is starting to come down quite heavily at Dominico Field. It is light out, and it looks like this might pass, but there is heavy rain coming down at the ballpark.
What's new? What's new in Christie Pitts? Us having to deal with the weather. We'll make it through. We persevered through the wind last week. We'll persevere through the rain this week.
Yeah, and if you were with us last week, we lost our tent. And we thought it was going to be too windy to put up the new tent today, which I think we were probably right. So we are what they call in the media industry screwed. Everything is just going to get soaked. And the center field camera is dead. That's going to cost me a lot of money. Oh boy.
Did you say it was out?
Yeah, well, it's soaked. Oh, there we go.
We'll see how long it survives out there.
I mean, it's underwater right now, so that's not good. There are sheets of rain you can see coming down in the outfield. It's nuts. This one's hit very well by Victor Plaz, and it is gone. Over the monster out there in right field. The London Majors have hit 3 home runs today and lead 4-1. And that ball was smashed by Victor Plaz, but the wind is gusting straight out towards center field. And it battled through the rain and carried all the way out of the ballpark.
Yeah, another good swing taking it the other way. But it's the 3rd home run now that Jesse Hodges has given up, and it's becoming a bit of a problem.
And Tommy Reyes-Cruz slashes this one foul down the left field line.
I mean, we've talked about it endlessly. You make too many errors, you lose games. The pitching isn't there, you lose games. The offense isn't there, you lose games. You give up a ton of home runs, you're not going to win many games.
Looks like the rain is starting to stop here at Dominico Field. The 1-1 from Hodges. That one's in there for a strike. And that one finds the zone, strike 3 called.
Bit of a questioning look from Tommy Reyes-Cruz there, but caught the outside corner nonetheless.
Ooh. There's a chilly breeze coming through here at Dominico Field now, blowing right into the face of Jesse Hodges. It's the number 9 hitter, Champ Garner, at the plate. Ahead in the counts, 1-0. And he takes up and in 2-0. Pitch count starting to climb here for Jesse Hodges. Here's the 3-1 pitch and a swing and a miss, strike 2. Pitch number 66 here from Hodges. And that one misses, just missed low and maybe a bit outside. Ball 4. Second walk for Hodges, and Garner is down to first base.
Second baseman number 97, Tyler Mosher.
Walking the 9-hole hitter. Just throwing that out there.
Although Tyler Mosher, who has been great this season, has struck out in each of his 2 at-bats here today. Hasn't seen Jesse Hodges particularly well, as opposed to some of the other hitters in the lineup for the London Majors. Caden Cardoso, Starlin Joseph, and Victor Plaz have all hit home runs against Hodges in the first 3 innings. The 1-0 pitch, and a throw down to first base is not in time, but oh boy, a good throw there would have got the runner at first base in Champ Garner. He was, I don't know what he was doing at first base. He started running to second, but it was an extremely late jump. I think he might have been looking at a delayed steal.
Well, you know what that was a failed hit and run right there. Is the swing, the confusion. Mott obviously wasn't ready for it, but it was totally a failed hit and run right there.
Yeah, just
Garner stops halfway, and then you turn back, and a good throw gets him. It's an out that probably should be recorded.
It was the run started though when that pitch was already at home plate. Like it was like a 3-second late break to first base.
It's a break for the Maple Leafs, and they'll take it. I mean, at the same time, unfortunately, you should have 2 out right now and nobody on. But the fact that, and there he goes again.
Throw by Lachlan Maud, bounces in the dirt, goes into center field. Although Jose Vinicio might have put a little bit of a decoy on Champ Garner there at second base as he's not able to advance. Connor Lewis was also coming in quickly. Jesse Hodges wants a new baseball, fires it into the Maple Leafs dugout. Mosher has a runner in scoring position with the stolen base. And it's high, ball 4. So he heads down to first base. First base was open, so that opens up the possibility of a double play for the Maple Leafs, but this isn't the guy they want to see at the plate here in Caden Cardoso, and as we speak, it's going to prompt a mound visit from pitching coach Sam Green.
Yeah, and I mean, it's 2 on, 1 out, and you get back to the meat of the order for the London Majors, and it starts again with walking the 9-hole hitter, unfortunately, and obviously it's not like Jesse Hodges set out there to do that. It's just that when that happens, nothing good comes of it, and he's now going to have to work through 3 or 4 really, really good hitters here in order to escape the inning undamaged. And with the Leafs already down 4-1 and the offense doing what it's been doing, which isn't a whole heck of a lot lately, it's just the 4th inning, but it's a very, very big turning point in this game. If London can break it open, as we've seen a number of teams do to the Leafs in the past, or if they can control it and limit the damage.
The pitch is inside, and that hit him.
That won't do it.
That hit the hand of Caden Cardoso, although he didn't react, and Jesse Hodges is arguing it might have hit the knob of the bat. But either way, Caden Cardoso is going to head down to first base, so the bases are loaded for a dangerous hitter in Starlin Joseph. And the Maple Leafs they need Jesse Hodges right here to get a big out and a dangerous hitter in Starlin Joseph. And if not get out of this inning, at least limit the damage here. Joseph has already hit a home run today. London leading 4-1 and threatening to blow it open here. Here's the first pitch. And it's in there for a strike.
And the other part to this is, and we talked about it earlier, the Leafs bullpen is mighty thin today. They do not have 3 or 4 guys. Valdez, Deska, Richardson, Leno. These guys aren't available. So they need as much length as they can get out of Jesse Hodges.
Swing and a miss on a breaking ball there from Starlin Joseph. The count's 0-2. This is a really good time for a strikeout for Jesse Hodges. You might want to be selective with this next pitch. It was a hanging curveball that was hit out by Starlin Joseph in his last at-bat. Now the 0-2. And it's hit on the ground. Vinicio gloves it. Throws to second for 1. On to first. In time. Double play. A huge double play rolled out by Jesse Hodges to get the Maple Leafs out of the inning. And it's the London Majors who lead 4-1, but damage limited by Jesse Hodges in the inning. We'll be right back. You're watching Toronto Maple Leafs Baseball on YouTube, brought to you by MNP. But how did things start for you?
It was a good start for me. Just 4 innings, ease into it. I mean, I wanted to go more, but the coaching staff and some of the guys said, hey, take it easy. We want you to pitch more this year instead of running out 80, 100 pitches right off the bat, and then you're sore. So I felt good out there.
This season, you're starting out the year pitching. Last year, you kind of started in midway through. Was there anything different in the off-season you did to prepare to be on the mound?
I threw a lot of BP while I was coaching. No, I threw more consistent bullpens and tried to take care of my arm a little bit more, knowing that I was going to be pitching a little bit more this year. But no, just throwing my pens, throwing BP, keeping the arm loose.
I know it's been a bit of a slow start for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I know it's also a very long season. What's kind of the mindset, or how do you look at this start?
I mean, we're competing, so you can take that right off the board right there. Like, we're going out and we're giving everything we got every time we get on the field. Things will click, right? A lot of people in baseball, it's a long season, it's a grind, it's a sport of failure. You can't click the panic button yet. So we'll just keep competing. A couple bounces, couple pitches, couple balls fall our way, and we're off to the races.
Look there at the corner of Barton Avenue and Christie Street, right behind us here at Dominico Field. Dominico Field located right on Christie Street and Barton Avenue, and Marcus Connect is leading things off for the Maple Leafs.
It's a pretty good turnout here today with a little bit of wind, a little bit of rain that we've had. I mean, there's about 1,001 different important things going on in the city. It's Canada Day weekend. There's Pride celebrations going on up and down Church Street. College has stuff going on. Given all that, it's a pretty good turnout.
Marcus Connect hits it to the shorthanded Tommy Reyes-Cruz, who has it. He throws to first in time, out number 1.
If there's one guy that you really don't want to hit it to on this infield, would be that man right there, Tommy Reyes-Cruz. Like you were saying, only 1 error this season.
Just 22 errors as a team by the London Majors this season, which is a pretty good number. Now John Salazzo hits this one to center field. This one's got a chance, and it's gone. Another long ball for John Salazzo. Cuts the lead to 2. That's 5 on the season for John Salazzo. And the lead is now just 4-2 London Majors.
Yeah, he pummeled the heck out of that ball. Dead center field, the wind shifted it slightly, but he knew it right off the bat that one was carrying. And it's the power that we're used to seeing from Jonathan Salazzo. Every year he's been here, he's gotten better and better at hitting out the long ball, and that is what they will need if they want to get back in this game and maybe win it.
This might be a good spot here for Justin Mara. He's got some information on Jose Arias, facing him for the second time through the order. 2 teammates have got pitches to hit. And he's now ahead in the count 2-0. This has happened in the past over the last few seasons for the Maple Leafs, where when John Salazzo hits a home run, it can sometimes be contagious. Check swing by Justin Mara, and it was a called strike anyway.
And the Leafs have a bit of double barrel action down in the bullpen. Adam Mara, the lefty, and then Taylor Lepard on the right, who's pitched in 1 game in his return this season to the Maple Leafs.
Whoa, Justin Mara had a great cut at that pitch and fouled it straight back. And he's kicking himself after that foul ball as well.
we all kind of knew that they wanted to get Lepard some action now that he's returned. He's only pitched in one game, and they want to get him rolling again like they did last year.
The 2-2, this one's hit on the ground sharply towards second base. Tyler Mosher has it, throws to first in time to get the out, and there's 2 away. So out steps Ryan Dos Santos, and he's got himself into the home run action. Hit number 4 on the year his last time up. And Ryan Dos Santos has never put up really any power numbers in the Intercounty Baseball League, but this season has been a completely different story. And from talking to Ryan and just kind of following his journey on social media over the offseason, he's been hitting the weight room. And boy, has it ever paid off this season, already with 4 home runs. And really showed off that power last time out as he hit it to opposite field.
Yeah, just a great swing. I said it at the time, I'll say it again. When you can hit that ball that hard, that far to the opposite field, you are doing something right.
The 1-1 finds the zone. Elicits a reaction there from Ryan Dos Santos, who's now behind in the count 1-2. And before this season for Ryan, he had 2 career home runs dating back to 2019 in the Intercounty Baseball League. The 1-2. That one a little further inside, so it's called a ball. Counts 2-2. Give Ryan Dos Santos 15 RBIs on the year. The 2-2 pitch from Arias, and it's in the dirt. Scooped out by Eduardo De Olio, and the count runs full. The full count pitch. And it's fouled off. So Ryan Dos Santos putting up a pretty good at-bat here.
The 7th pitch upcoming in this at-bat that Jose Arias will toss. We've seen it a couple times this game with Marcus Connect earlier as well, fighting off some tough pitches, working the count.
And a swing and a miss, strike 3. Jose Arias did not know that was the 3rd out, but happy when he saw his teammates running in from the outfield as he gets through. Another pretty good inning, but gives up the one blemish to John Salazzo, who goes to dead center field. And it cuts the lead to just 2 for the London Majors. 4-2 Majors over the Toronto Maple Leafs. You're watching Maple Leafs Baseball on YouTube, brought to you by MNP. Well, the London Majors this season have been the expert at winning the games that they're supposed to win, which in baseball is not always the easiest thing to do. They've played 9 games this year against teams that are below 500. That's the Kitchener Panthers, the Maple Leafs, the Brantford Red Sox, and the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers. They played Chatham-Kent twice in the last 4 games, and they've dominated Chatham-Kent this season. They're 4-0 against them. Overall, 8-1 against teams that are below 500. Flipping things over to the other side of things against teams that are above 500, obviously your record's not going to be as good. It hasn't been for the London Majors, but a big reason why they are where they are right now is because of what they've done against the games that they're supposed to win against the less strong teams in the Intercounty Baseball League. And the Maple Leafs have been one of those teams this year, and they're trying to have their number again here today. Hodges' first pitch is fouled off by Byron Reichstein.
Yeah, and I mean when you look at the stats like that, it's at the end of the season we all talk about the importance of home field advantage in the playoffs. You got to win the games that you're supposed to win, and London has been terrific at that, like you just mentioned. The Leafs haven't been, but that's what it's going to come down to, is that, yeah, there's 3 or 4 really, really good teams in the league so far this year, stats-wise, and you got to do what you got to do against the lesser teams to have a chance. Good pitch from Hodges right there.
Catcher number 26, Eduardo De Oleo.
So one way that brings up Eduardo De Oleo. Jesse Hodges did a really good job to get out of the inning in the 4th. Had the bases loaded and 1 out, and got Starlin Joseph, of all people, to hit into a ground ball double play. Something which we haven't seen. We have not seen the Maple Leafs turn a lot of double plays this season here at Dominico Field, but Jose Vinicio flipped to Dan Mara, who had plenty of time to give it to Jordan Castaldo. Now here's one ripped out to left center field, and that one gets out of here in a hurry. Oh boy, Eduardo De Oleo with a line shot out to left center field, and the Majors hit another home run. It's their 4th of the game, and they lead 5-2.
We saw in Angel Castro's first start against Welland a lot of pitches left over middle over the plate, and they hit 5 home runs off of Castro. Now, we talked about it earlier. Hodges hasn't pitched a lot this year. It's his first start in a couple weeks, and it's just, when you face a team as good as the London Majors, you cannot be leaving pitches where those pitches have been. They're going to crush you every single time, and we've seen that today. The Leafs have had some power too, but to limit the home runs at a field like Dominico Field here is massively important, because the wind plays such a big factor.
Yeah, and just the fact that the fence is not very far away.
That too.
Out there, and they've got the big fence in right field, which has prevented a lot of home runs this year at Dominico Field, but you'll take pitchers pounding the strike zone over walking guys, that's for sure. Ground ball to Dan Marr, makes a nice play. Moving to his left, throws to Jordan Castaldo in time, 2 away.
And what we just saw there, a weakly hit grounder to the right side. Hodges has been very effective since he came over to the Leafs in doing that, or should I say since he's been starting for the Leafs, in getting those quick ground ball outs. When you keep the ball on the ground, in his case, he's been very, very good. He's had some terrific starts over the 2 seasons that he's pitched with Maple Leafs. It's just that when you leave the ball up here, and the wind plays such a big factor too, you get it into the Gulf Stream, and it's just going to go. We've seen it multiple times this game. Balls hit to the opposite field.
Oof.
And that one got Lachlan Maud.
That looked like it might have been a cross-up, too, between Maud and Hodges, and that did not hit him in the glove.
I think that palmed him.
Yeah.
A pitch that far inside to a righty, and as you catch with your left side behind the plate, if you don't turn that glove over 180 degrees, you can palm it, and that does not feel very good.
Victor Plaz, a line drive into center field. That ball was smoked, and he's on first base. That's his 2nd hit of the day. He's one of the London Majors who's hit a home run, and more hard contact from him. 1 on with 2 outs here for London, and already a run in on the line drive home run by Eduardo De Oleo.
And I'd expect either Reyes Cruz or Champ Gardner on deck to be the one of the last 2 hitters faced by Hodges this game. I mean, he's thrown a lot of pitches. You've had Lepard warming in the bullpen for quite some time. Sam Green just ran down there to tell Lepard what the deal is. Mara is back on the mound now as well.
That one's in the dirt. It gets away from Lachlan Maud, and luckily Jose Vinicio was still standing on second base, faking like that ball was going to come down, so that saves an extra base for the Maple Leafs, as Victor Plaz might have had an opportunity to go to third with the wild pitch, and he gave Jose Vinicio a bit of a friendly shove on his way by at second base as 2, probably in response to the decoy. So runner in scoring position here for the London Majors. The 1-1 pitch, outside corner, strike 2. Tommy Reyes-Cruz, the shortstop for London at the plate.
Massive pitch here. You're at the bottom of the order. You have the 9-hole hitter on deck. You don't want to let it get there. You have 2 strikes. Again, limiting damage against a team like this is very important.
Throw to second, and Victor Plaz was not expecting that ball to come back to him, but luckily for London, that throw was a bit offline. Not the easiest thing to do for a pitcher to turn around and fire that ball to second base.
And we haven't seen a lot of that this season, the plays at second.
Ground ball to Dan Mara. He scoops it up again and throws to first. A couple nice defensive plays by Dan Mara in the inning, but the London Majors strike for 1 more. It's Eduardo De Olio who hits home run number 4 for the London Majors on the day. They lead 5-2 over the Maple Leafs. Salazzo hits this one deep to left field, and it's gone. 3-run home run, John Salazzo, and the Maple Leafs have blown it wide open at 7-0.
And we talk about it, his power number, Salazzo, he can go anywhere, but
well, the London Majors have been rolling of late. Their last game was an 8-0 win against the Guelph Royals, and boy, did they ever get a start from Victor Payano. He was dominant, didn't walk a batter, didn't give up a run, only gave up 2 hits, struck out 7 batters. And man, I mean, the London Majors offense put up a lot last game, but they did not need to with Payano on the mound.
No, and I'm sure Travis Keys is sitting there and looking at that game saying, hey, why can't you help me out when I throw 8 innings of 1-run ball?
Against Guelph.
Against Guelph. So it's the dichotomy of having really good pitching and really good offense and having it all click at the same time. And as we saw in this case, a dominant win. We've seen some dominant wins for the London Majors. And I mean, that's one of their 3 wins against a team that's above 500. We talked about that earlier. And 3 terrific starting pitchers that they have cooking right now. And Victor Payano, Jose Arias, and Travis Keys. It's, I would argue, the best 1-2-3 trifecta of arms in the league right now. They're all going. They're all pitching well.
This is Dan Mara at the plate for the Maple Leafs. The 0-1 pitch, Mara thinking about bunting, and he takes outside. I talked to Dan Mara the other day, and as you know, this is a very veteran Toronto Maple Leafs team, and he kind of alluded that if the Maple Leafs were to win a championship, that would probably be the end of the career for a lot of these veterans. This one's hit pretty well by Dan Mara to center field, but a catch is made about 10 feet in front of the wall for out number 1. Dan Mara this was over a Zoom interview, and he said it would be a blast of a time to win a championship in Toronto, and it might be a nice cap to the career as well. And he kind of gave a little side glance as he said that. Obviously, the Maple Leafs have a long way to go, but one of the things that, as you mentioned before, everyone coming back year after year to this Maple Leafs team is they've seen the IBL finals one too many times, and they really want to win one. This one's sky high by Connor Lewis, and that one's going to be caught by Starling Joseph as he loses his cap in the process.
Number 20,
Lachlan Maud fouls this one off. So Lachlan Maud behind in the count. 0-2. Pitch from Arias in the dirt. Ball 1.
Taylor Lepard will take over for Jesse Hodges next inning. He's been throwing for quite some time down in the left field bullpen.
This will be an interesting outing for Taylor Lepard. He has, resume-wise and stuff-wise, you'd think he might be the best pitcher on the Maple Leafs, but he got touched up a little bit against the Brantford Red Sox last time out. Swing and a miss on a pitch in the dirt. Eduardo De Olio is going to have to throw down, and boy, he does confidently and right on the money to complete the strikeout and end the inning against Lachlan Maud. We'll be right back here as Toronto Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube from Dominico Field. Taylor Lepard into the game for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Recently joined the team from the Hagerstown Flying Boxcars in the Atlantic League, playing professional independent baseball. And he is a guy who brings some firepower out of this Maple Leafs bullpen. His fastball is touched 96 miles an hour. He's got a changeup and a slider that look pretty sharp as well. And the Maple Leafs really want to see Tyler Lepard get through a scoreless inning here after giving up a couple hits against Brantford last time out. So he'll face Champ Garner to lead off, and Garner's going to foul the first pitch off. It was a fastball from Taylor Lepard.
Yeah, he's going to be a very important piece in the Maple Leafs bullpen moving forward if he can find himself like he did last year with the team. Just the pure velocity on its own is going to take him places, and then once you get the command down with the secondary, tertiary pitches, he's going to be very, very good. It's just a matter of time of finding himself, and we've seen it many times with players coming back after spending some time away from the IBL. It takes them a starter, or an outing or two, I should say, to find themselves again. I mean, we just saw it right there, 2 straight pitches up and in on Champ Garner that were nowhere close. It's just getting back into the rhythm of pitching on a mound like this.
Yeah, it is a bit different from playing on a pro mound, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Although, we got a chance to throw at the first pitch the other day, so we were up on that mound. I mean, it's a lot better than any mound I've ever pitched on. I mean,
I don't know if I'm going to go that far, but
it
was a mound.
Yeah, I pitched on this mound, but it's nice not having that giant hole to dig yourself out of. You know that one on
You're
your
telling
back
me you
foot?
didn't dig in when you're throwing out that first pitch? That was just me?
No, I did not. I wanted to create as little a nuisance as possible. Count now, 2-2 on Champ Garner.
I think the best mound I've ever pitched on has been out in Ajax with the Pan Am fields.
Oh, yeah.
They've been terrific. I mean, they've been so good. They've hosted international tournaments there before, obviously. And, you know, Canada as a country has had some terrific baseball moments playing there.
Mm-hmm.
That mound is just terrific.
A 2-2 pitch from Lepard. And he got him. Swing and a miss, strike 3 by Champ Garner. That was a nasty breaking ball, and there's one away.
And it's pitches like that, if you can locate that consistently, you know, down in and on a righty, cutting inside, get guys like Garner to swing over those pitches, it's a very effective pitch mix for Lepard.
Here's a soft chop to first base. Castaldo gloves it and goes to first. 2 away. And this looks like the Tyler Lepard that we were used to seeing last year.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be shocked if he gets Cardoso here. I mean, things change in the heat of the moment. If he gives up a hit, a walk, whatever, we'll see. But, I mean, he only threw 1 inning against Brantford. He's only thrown 1 inning this year for the Maple Leafs. But nobody's warming up down in that pen. If he gets Cardoso here, I'd imagine he's back out for a second. And it looks like he will.
He might do just that. High fly ball to center field, and it's caught. That ball was carrying a little bit, but Connor Lewis is there to make the catch. So he gets the last 2 outs on 2 pitches, does Taylor Lepard, before getting the strikeout of Champ Garner to start the inning. The Toronto Maple Leafs are coming up when we come back here in the bottom of the 6th. Well, if there was any time for the Maple Leafs to try and get back into this thing, now is the time. They have 1, 2, 3 coming up in the batting order, starting out with their best hitter this year in Jordan Castaldo, followed by Jose Vinicio and the always dangerous Marcus Connect. Jose Arias back on the mound for the London Majors, and his first pitch is fouled off.
And this is now the 13th game that the London Majors have had their starter go 5 or more innings.
Wow.
Out of the 18, excuse me, that they've now played in, including this one. They've been very, very consistent. When you have a bullpen as small as they do and as few guys that have been interchangeably pulled in and out, when you have starters consistently going 5, 6, 7, 8, you don't need a lot of guys down there. You don't need the Farringtons and the Janices to go deep, or throw multiple innings, I should say. And they've been effective in short usage situations. And even Jose Arias, he's a save on the air, if I recall.
Did you say 13 games?
13 games, they've had guys go 5 or more innings now.
Now that is remarkable.
It is.
To have that in a whole season. In a league where you pitch openers and you have starters that don't go very deep. Yeah. Castaldo takes low.
And 3 of those games in which they haven't had their starters go deep, it hasn't been the top 3. They've had Coombs, who have started a couple games. They've had these guys out of the bullpen who have kind of eaten innings here and there. Slot starts here and there, 3 innings, 4 innings, 2 innings.
This one's hooked out to right field. It's carrying towards the wall, and it bounces off the top of it. A double for Jordan Castaldo as the throw is wild and hits the umpire on the way back in. Boy, that ball kept carrying, and when it was all said and done, that was feet away from being a solo shot for Jordan Castaldo, but he'll take the double.
And that's the power that he possesses. I mean, he'll be the first one to tell you there. He got under that ball. It was not a line drive by any means. He's hit balls a heck of a lot harder and a heck of a lot farther. He got under that ball, right center field gap, right off the top of that big new fence out there. Last year, that ball would have been gone. Last year, if that fence was not doubly as high as it was, that ball is flying out of here.
I mean, that was down and in, too. He went down and got that pitch. Here's a bunt by Jose Vinicio. It was pretty good, but it rolled into foul territory.
Yeah, he golfed that. I mean, when you get slow curveballs off speed pitches like that, especially as a righty to a lefty hitter, you just get that ball going down and you bring it right back up with a golf kind of swing, especially at a park like this. It'll carry.
Here's the 0-1 to Vinicio. And he's bunting again. This time he gets down a beauty. The throw is in time, but that does advance Jordan Castaldo to third base. Jose Vinicio does a good job of advancing the runner, and now here comes Marcus Connect. And, you know, I know the Maple Leafs are down by a couple runs here, but this is something you are going to have to do during the season is manufacture runs, and they want to make sure they get at least one out of this inning, and they've got the right guy to do it here in Marcus Connect.
Yeah, and I mean, Vinicio was bunting. Yeah, he got him over. He was bunting for a base hit there as a lefty. You're bunting it down the third baseline, 1, to get him over, but 2, it's a much tougher play for Victor Plaz. Great play by him, but if you want to just straight up get him over, you're pulling that ball down the right side. So a good play by Plaz, but...
Line drive towards center field. This will be enough to get in the run. The catch is made in center, and jogging home is Jordan Castaldo. So the Maple Leafs, they manufacture one for themselves. 2 outs now, nobody on, but the score is now 5-3, and now they're just hoping that bullpen can keep things in check and they can scratch across a couple runs here in the final 3 innings, and they're in business.
And I mean, that's not something we've seen a lot out of the Leafs over the last 3 or 4 years, playing the small ball game. And like I said, Vinicio is obviously bunting to try and get on base there, but they've relied so heavily on their extra base hit power, and they've done it so well over the last few years. They've really had no need, but for a team like this, when you're struggling offensively, trying to find your footing, a 2-run game is much more manageable now. As we saw early on when Hodges escaped that bases loaded situation, I believe it was the 4th, and he got that double play ball to Jose Vinicio, things could have spiraled way out of hand, and they didn't. And they are still in this game.
John Salazzo takes one on the dirt. So while we have a moment here, let's just take another look at that double by Jordan Castaldo. Look how far down and in this pitch is. Just hooks it off the wall and makes pretty good contact.
It's a great swing. I mean, you can see the pitch coming in. He read it as a curveball, and good piece of hitting right there from Mr. Castaldo.
John Salazzo gets into another one, deep to left field, and that one's out of here. A solo home run from John Salazzo, and the lead is now just 1.
Have yourself a day, John Salazzo. And where did he hit it again? He got it up, he hit it to opposite field, he got it into that stream of wind. Second of the day. And it's been fantastic pieces of hitting that we've seen from these lefty hitters. Dos Santos, Salazzo, Castaldo hooking it. And there you manufacture a run. Now you rely on the power. It's a 1-run ball game.
So, Justin Mara at the plate, and it looked like he had some pitches to hit in his last at-bat. And he just missed a few. So he's going to face Arias again. And this time with a little bit more knowledge in the bank, and see if he can figure out the majors righty. That was a perfect pitch over the outside corner, and he's behind 1-2. Nothing you can do about that.
I mean, last at bat, he got just under a curveball, pulled it down the right field line into the London Majors bullpen.
Check swing, strike 3, called at home plate by the home plate umpire. And that'll do it. But the Maple Leafs tack on some more runs, this time in the 6th. It's now a 1-run lead for the London Majors. That inning punctuated by the second home run of the day by John Salazzo. So John Salazzo has made this thing interesting for the Maple Leafs. This is the home run last inning. Goes to opposite field after hitting his first one to dead center. And it's now just 5-4 London Majors. And Taylor Lepard is back on the mound for the Maple Leafs. He needed just 9 pitches to get into the 7th inning. We have no idea what the game plan is here with Taylor Lepard, whether he's going to go a couple of innings or maybe even try and finish this game. We don't know, but throwing 9 pitches last inning really helps out his case for trying to bridge the gap to the 9th here for the Maple Leafs.
And the way that the Leafs bullpen is set up, not just today, but throughout this season, is they have so many one-inning guys, and we've seen them try to turn Julian Tomachko into a multi-inning guy with mixed results. If they can get Lepard to be pretty consistently able to go 2 or 3 innings, it'll be a big, big help for them out of the pen.
A pop-up by Sterling Joseph, and Dan Mara's been busy out there at second base. He makes the catch.
Right fielder number 22, Byron Weinstein.
That's going to bring Byron Reichstein to the plate. Taylor Lepard has mowed through 4 hitters for the London Majors, and he's not got the easy part of the lineup. It's been 9-1-2-3 so far for Lepard. Now he's ahead in the count 0-2 to Byron Reichstein. And strike 3 called. Taylor Lepard just painted the outside corner with a fireball. And there's 2 away in the inning, and that was we don't have a radar gun right now, but that looked like it had some steam on it.
Absolutely it did. I mean, this is the Lepard that we saw last year that we all fell in love with, which is just great command of his hard fastball. And he's doing it again against a couple really tough hitters. And he's doing it quickly, too. He's not messing around. He's saying, here's my hard fastball. You try and hit it.
Swing and a miss by DeOlio.
Case in point.
Yeah, a guy who has seen some pitchers like Taylor Lepard with his pro experience. But you don't see that kind of velocity much in the IBL. Swing and a miss. He blew it by him, and Taylor Lepard may not have any need to go to a secondary pitch here against DeOlio.
No, why change what's working? High fastball. I will die on the hill that that's the best pitch in baseball, a hard, high, well-located fastball.
And he got him. Blew it right by him once again. A couple strikeouts in the inning for Taylor Lepard, who has looked dominant through 2 innings for the Maple Leafs. Well, the Bats need some runs. They got some momentum from John Salazzo last inning. Now they'll try and keep the momentum going as we head to the bottom of the 7th. Well, power has been the name of the game today for both of these teams, getting the majority of their runs via the long ball. This is a guy who has a long ball of his own today. Ryan Dos Santos hit home run number 4 a couple at-bats ago. And look who's back on the mound for the London Majors. Jose Arias, who has been dominant and efficient other than the couple blemishes by John Salazzo home runs. Now here's one lined out to center field. Champ Garner's there, makes the catch, one away.
I mean, you could say it about both starting pitchers today. Obviously, Arias is lasting a lot longer than Jesse Hodges did. That's mainly based on pitch count and how long Hodges has gone this season. But a lot of balls that have been up, center, and they've been hit out. Only 1 run this game has come from a ball not going over the fence, and that was after a Vinicio bunt to Marcus Connect deep line drive to center. So there's been a lot of hard hit balls this game that have resulted in good things for both teams.
Dan Mara has had a busy day defensively at second base. He's at the plate now. That one's in there for a strike, so he's behind 0-2. Arias came into this inning with a pitch count of 85. Check swing, and he went around, and we have jinxed Dan Mara. We just talked about the lack of strikeouts in his IPL career. He struck out twice here today against the London Majors.
And I mean, he'll be the first to tell you that a couple at-bats haven't been great for him. You know, 2 check swings, 2 7 at-bats that you call him going around on. You know, Arias has pitched him tough. Arias pitches a lot of guys tough, but Dan Mara hasn't had the hottest start to the year either, but Just hoping to turn it around at some point.
This is Connor Lewis, the Maple Leafs center fielder, at the plate. And Lewis checks his swing on a pitch in the dirt. A lot of check swings today, which I think speaks to the nastiness of the stuff that Jose Arias is bringing. And there's another nasty breaking ball, but it just missed.
Yeah, Arias has gotten a lot of quick outs. I mean, we've talked about how deep he's gone. He threw 7 innings his last time out. It's nothing new for London pitching.
The 1-2, a sharp hit ground ball up the middle for a base hit. Connor Lewis is aboard with 2 outs. Connor Lewis, back in the day, played for Monroe Community College, playing JUCO in the 2013-2016, or between those seasons, and man, he was so good playing JUCO. A career batting average of .329, and many seasons in the IBL has brought that great ability to get on base to the Maple Leafs. Now Lachlan Maud gets into this one, high and deep to center field, and Champ Garner runs it down right in front of the wall. Lachlan Maud just missed a double as the great speed of Champ Garner was able to get there in time. It's a 1-run ball game here at Dominico Field. It's the London Majors who lead 5-4. So Taylor Lepard pitches 2 excellent innings for the Maple Leafs, and now he'll give way to Sam Green, who will likely be tasked with going the final 2 innings, or maybe 3, maybe 4 innings in this ball game. Sam Green has been a starter for the Maple Leafs. He's been working his way back from injury. He went 1 inning his last time out. He went, or 1 inning in his first outing from injury, and then he went 2 innings last time out. So Green kind of working it up, but I think he's back into kind of starter mode now for the Maple Leafs, so he'll provide some length of the bullpen. And I mean, Gus, it's not over yet, but we talked about the lack of depth in the Maple Leafs bullpen today. They've done as much as they can at this point. They've got their long guy, Sam Green, and they'll probably finish out this ball game.
They have. I mean, if all goes well, Sam Green's going to pitch the 8th and the 9th today, and they're going to not continue to have to go to guys like, Nagorski or Tomachko or Mara down there. They've done a good job so far in Taylor and Lepard. And, I mean, speaking of, warming up in the bullpen area, it's just through 7 pretty good innings. Jonathan Henry and Alex Springer are the 2 guys going down in the London bullpen, double barrel action. Springer, the Leafs haven't faced this year. Henry, the Leafs have. Gave up a run to the Leafs when Toronto played in London weeks ago.
2-1 has swung on a miss, so now it's 2-2. Now, Sam Green, I think he might have been dealing with a bicep injury earlier on in the season than just the game that he pitched, but his ERA is not good this year. It's 8.02, but a lot of that has come in May when he was kind of dealing with that injury, but his last 2 outings have been scoreless. He's allowed just 1 hit in each of those. That one's in the dirt. The count runs full. Has not walked a lot of guys. His control has been good since coming back, and he's looked pretty dominant, especially in that 2-inning outing against Hamilton last time he pitched.
Yeah, and the IBL is a league where ERAs get inflated all the time. We saw it quickly with Max Leno. 2 bad outings, and his ERA is now one of the worst on the team as that one's hit back up the middle.
Yeah, which is that's a bummer for Max Lemieux. So I talked to him about that outing, and almost his entire ERA is coming through 2 separate outings. His very first one, which he had to shake things off a little bit in his first outing. And then the last time out where he said that the wind was so strong at Dominico Field that he was being blown off the mound as he was trying to pitch. And he said there was one time where the new rule in the Intercounty Baseball League is that you only get 2 disengagements and then you have to pick the runner off in the 3rd, just like in Major League Baseball. He had already used his 2 disengagements. He was standing there on the mound about to fall over from a gust of wind, and luckily the umpire called time on his own. Here's a bunt out in front of home plate. Lachlan Maud fields it, but that's a foul ball, says the home plate umpire. So that just goes to show you what he was dealing with through that outing. And there you have it. He gave up like 8 earned runs or something like that in that outing, and that's pretty much accounting for his entire ERA over the year. So, numbers can be deceiving, especially in the Intercounty Baseball League, I think it's fair to say.
No, we saw Victor Plaz just try and bunt him over.
The 0-1 is up high, throw down to first base, not in time. But it was closer than you would have thought.
And just to finish that thought, the reason why I wouldn't seem surprised that they're trying to bunt him over here, but so one of the issues that we've seen this season is Sam Green has had trouble holding guys on. Teams have kind of run wild a little bit, or at least tried to, off of Sam Green.
Here's his 1-1 pitch. Bunting again, back out in front of home plate. Sam Green thought about second, now throws to first high, but Jordan Costello kept his foot on the bag. And that's out number 1. So the London Majors make things a bit interesting in the field for the Leafs. Think Sam Green had a shot there at second base?
No, he made the right play.
Yeah.
He turned and looked. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. But yeah, it was just Krasminski's too quick out there. I mean, he wouldn't have got him at second base. He would have had to throw a Taylor and Lepard fastball to even have a shot at him. He made the right play there. London's giving you an out at this point in the game. You got to take it. And you also got to trust your stuff. I mean, you're facing now the 8-9 hitters with 1 away. You got to be confident. Sam Green's been pitching well of late, and you get the bottom of the order. You say, hey, now's the best shot to try and get 2 quick outs here. You don't want to come back to the top of the order and face the likes of Caden Cardoso again with guys on base. Now's your best shot to get 2 quick outs.
Green's pitch, swing and a miss. 1-1. Speaking of Taylor Lepard fastballs, Sam Green does have a Taylor Lepard fastball. He gets that thing up into the low 90s. You'd think it's probably sitting around 90 right now with the conditions. And he's got some pretty good secondary pitches, which have been a work in progress through last year, but in working on his own and with catcher Justin Mara, I think he's starting to find some more confidence in those pitches.
Speaking of conditions, it has gotten very cold very quickly here at Dominico Field, and we are feeling the brunt of that at the top of the hill.
Swing and a miss, strike 2. Tommy Reyes Cruz sees the count leveled at 2s here against Sam Green, who has worked himself right back in it.
It looks like Jonathan Henry, the hard-throwing righty, will come into the game for the London Majors next inning.
Inside corner, strike 3 called. Perfect pitch executed by Sam Green. And now he has 2 outs and a pinch hitter, I believe, coming up.
Yeah, that does not look like Cham Gardner.
So everyone getting the name figured out as well as us. Brad Verhoeven comes into the game for the London Majors. So he's pinch hitting for Champ Garner, who is a righty, so they'll bring out the lefty to get the favorable matchup with Sam Green. And he's tasked with trying to drive in a run. And Verhoeven slashes one down the right field line, and it's foul. First pitch swinging was Verhoeven pinch hitting, and got pretty good wood on that one.
And Verhoeven, we've seen quite a bit of last year with the London Majors. He's played games against the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's a solid lefty bat off the bench. I mean, it's the right move. Sam Green is a righty on the mound. You don't want to face Champ Gardner, who's already a relatively speaking light-hitting righty hitter. Get the lefty in there, the matchup you want.
And Verhoeven is way out in front of a breaking ball from Sam Green, and it's 0-2. Brad Verhoeven hitting .261 this season.
Now, if I'm Sam Green right here, you saw him turn on a fastball and then be way early on that pitch low in the dirt. Throw another one in the dirt. You're ahead 0-2. Try and get him a chase here. I would not throw anything in the strike zone.
The 0-2. Way up and in. And that one just missed the head of Brad Verhoeven, who in his last 6 games he's appeared in have been either a pinch run or pinch hit situation. So this is a situation that he has been quite familiar with, although he does not have a hit in each of his last 6 games, after he started out the year as a starter playing very well. Came in against the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers and walked and scored, pinch hitting. That was a big run. London Majors ended up winning that game 4-3. Came in I believe a pinch running situation against Guelph and scored as well. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sam Green strands the runner at second base and gets 2 massive strikeouts to get himself out of the inning. And the Maple Leafs are coming up needing 1 run, trailing 5-4 to the London Majors.
For your Maple Leafs, the first baseman, number 5, Jordan.
Oh, welcome back to Dominico Field. Toronto Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube is brought to you by MNP, national in scope, local in focus. MNP is one of Canada's leading professional services firms, proudly serving individuals, businesses, and organizations since 1958. So, Arias, excellent on the mound for the London Majors. He's going to give way to, get this, one of just 10 pitchers to pitch for the London Majors all season, and that's Henry. An ERA of just over 3 to start the year. That is a fair ball, and Jordan Castaldo was hoping it would go foul. A rare occurrence, a first pitch out by Jordan Castaldo, and that's a good start for Henry and the London Majors as Jonathan Henry comes into this game with an ERA of 3.24 and 7 strikeouts in the 8 1/3 innings pitched that he has this year, and was good last time out. Pitched an inning and a third against the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers, where he didn't give up a run or a hit and got a strikeout.
Got his first career IBL save as well in that one. He closed the door. Castaldo, we just saw him go back to the bench there and slam his helmet. I mean, he's just as frustrated as anyone would be. You swing at a bad pitch, first pitch, and you're just hoping that ball rolls over on itself foul. But I mean, moreover, I'm sure he's frustrated as well that, I mean, it's the bottom of the 8th. You may not get another chance up.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, I mean, in the IBL as well, you have a 3-batter minimum rule. I'd be really shocked if they let Henry face Salazzo. You have the lefty Alex Springer warming up. Salazzo's been so good.
This one's hit out to center field by Jose Vinicio, but it's a can of corn out there in center for Champ Gardner. Actually, no, that's a... Is it Verhoeven out there in center field?
That is Andrew Lawrence out there in center field. So Gardner gave way to the pinch hitter Verhoeven, who then gives way to the superior defender out there in Andrew Lawrence. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking at it from a matchup point of view, you look at the 3-4 guys for the Leafs. I'm just trying to guess along with how London's been thinking. Connect a righty. You have Henry, a hard-thrown righty out there, and then you think, okay, in the 9th, we'll need a lefty, Alex Springer, to match up. And the Leafs have so many lefties in their lineup anyways. We don't obviously know this. I'm just trying to play along with the idea of how to work a bullpen, but both teams limited in their relievers today.
Pitch finds the outside corner against Marcus Connect. Count now 1-1.
And on top of that, Alex Springer is one of a few guys who the Leafs have not ever faced.
This one's fouled off down the left side by Marcus Connect. Jonathan Henry ahead in the count 1-2.
Henry already a much better outing against the Leafs than his last time out when he gave up a run on 2 hits. Walked a guy as well. That was back on June 14th in a 7-5 London win.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Well, Jonathan Henry gets a 1-2-3 inning against the Maple Leafs, who have been battling and battling in this game and getting good innings out of their relievers, but now they find themselves in a situation with just 3 outs to work with and trailing by 1 against London.
The best of the Intercounty Baseball League descend on the Rose City on July 20th as the 2023 Dominico Cup champion Welland Jackfish and Welland Stadium host the 2024 Intercounty Baseball League All-Star Showdown and Home Run Derby. For ticket information, visit wellandjackfish.com/all-star or call 905-735-9834. Welland Jackfish Baseball, fans first, fun always. Get hooked.
Oh, welcome back to Dominico Field here on a Sunday afternoon. It's getting late into this one. The London Majors have put up 5 runs on 4 home runs and lead the Toronto Maple Leafs. Sam Green is back on the mound, and if the Maple Leafs have a shot in this bottom of the 9th inning, Sam Green needs a shutdown inning. So that's task number 1, and it falls on the shoulders of Green. He has the 1-2-3 hitters coming up for the London Majors. It's Tyler Mosher, Caden Cardoso, and Starling Joseph, 2 of which have hit home runs here today.
Not an easy task at all. Julian Tomochko has been a workhorse for the Maple Leafs down in that bullpen this year. Begins to lightly throw just in case he's needed.
Tyler Mosher fouls that one off down the left side.
And we've talked about it before this game, during this game earlier on. For the Leafs, it's just trying to get all 3 parts of their game, the offense, the pitching, and the defense, to click all at once. Today you have the pitching, and the defense has been pretty good, but the offense hasn't been there.
Tyler Mosher played Division II baseball with the Davenport Panthers in the past. Now behind in the count 0-2 on Sam Green.
Mosher, who's had a really good start to his season, has had a tough day at the plate. I'm sure he's happy just not to be facing Jesse Hodges. Struck out twice against the Leaf starter.
Little flare. This one's toward third. John Salazzo is there. He's got a couple of those today, and he records out number 1.
First baseman number 34.
So here's Caden Cardoso, who has now hit home runs in back-to-back games. Likely just trying to get on base here with the power of Starlin Joseph behind him. The first pitch, it's fouled off. It was a breaking ball from Sam Green.
We're in the 9th inning. We are 2 hours and 8 minutes into this ball game. This is one of those moments where if an announcer's jinx does exist, then it benefits the Leafs, because that means they'll have to score in the bottom of the 9th to keep her going. But it has been a ball game that's just flown by. A lot of quick outs, not a lot of full counts. Plenty of solo home runs. And here we find ourselves atop the 9th already.
A called strike on Cardoso that counts 0-2.
With the arrival of Dan Procopio upcoming in the next week and a half or so, I wonder if Sam Green's move to the bullpen will be a bit more permanent. We've seen him start a couple games, but he's looked great out of the bullpen.
Oh, line drive off of Sam Green. He tries to recover quickly, throws to first, and flips it up the line. That's going to allow Caden Cardoso to get an extra base, and now Sam Green is in a heap out in front of the mound for the Maple Leafs. He looked like he was in pain as soon as that ball hit him, even when he was throwing that ball, and Sam Green cannot get rid of the injury bug right now as he is limping back to the mound.
Yeah, if there's
unlucky
one person you don't want to see a ball go anywhere near on the mound, it would be Sam Green. Now, luckily for him, he's already on his feet, putting his hat back on, and he wants to stay in this game. From a baseball point of view, obviously, you just get drilled with a baseball, and you're still trying to make that play. In hindsight, an ill-advised throw, there was not a chance that he was going to get him. But in the heat of the moment, you obviously don't know that. I'm actually surprised somewhat that Cardoso stopped at second base so easily. He didn't even turn around and look. I mean, Castaldo was just a couple steps away from the ball as Cardoso hit second. I thought he was going to try and go to 3. But it looks like Sam Green will stay in this game, which is obviously a relief for Rob Butler and the entire Leafs roster.
Yeah, well, first he's going to try and throw a couple pitches here.
And it's also an unfortunate break because it kind of looked like that had that ball missed Sam Green, Dan Marr would have had a play on it up the middle. So it's bad on all fronts, and now the London Majors have a man in scoring position with 1 out.
Looked like it kind of went right off his shin, which it'll
It'll
leave a
bruise.
mark. It'll leave a mark, yeah.
It will bruise.
So you brought up the time of this game. Things are starting to slow down after the bit of a delay there, but
You're welcome.
we've had a league average credit to around the IBL and Neil, who runs a great Instagram page there, but he put out the league average times. So the league average game time as of a couple weeks ago was 2 hours 57 minutes. The Maple Leafs are last in average time of game. They've averaged 3 hours and 21 minutes per game this season. The London Majors haven't been great either. They're right around league average at 2 hours and 59 minutes.
And I mean, that's what happens. There's teams come here. They've been notorious for a lot of runs have been scored here both for and against the Leafs. The more runs they score, the longer a game goes. Seeing quick innings here today.
Sam Green showing no ill effects on the first pitch as he gets a swing and a miss from Starlin Joseph. Sam Green needs to get Joseph here and keep that runner at second base. The 0-1. Check swing called. Strike 2.
And those have been two good pitches from Green, and obviously it negates the point I'm about to make. But what I was thinking was, well, Joseph has been such a good hitter both against you and against the league this year. Byron Reichstein on deck has had a bit of a slump the last couple weeks. Even if you walk Joseph, and obviously now it's 2 strikes, so you're not thinking about that, but Reichstein's also a double play candidate here.
The 0-2. Way up and in.
No action down in that London bullpen right now, so that means what it tells me is most likely Alex Springer will come in the game to try and get the save.
Sam Green's 1-2 pitch. Popped up. I don't think this one's going to stay in play, though. Lachlan Maud giving it a look, and it's just behind the Maple Leafs dugout.
I can't imagine they'd want a righty to face Jonathan Salazzo. We saw the damage that he did against Jose Arias. He'll lead off next inning. It'll be 4-5-6 for the Leafs in the bottom of the 9th inning. Hopefully dealing with just a 1-run ball game if Sam Green can work through a very tough part of the London Majors lineup.
The 1-2 pitch. Hit on the ground. Jose Vinicio on the backhand, scoops it up, whips to first, not in time. But a good play by Jose Vinicio just to keep that one in front of him. That looked like a broken back ground ball from Starlin Joseph, and that'll be an infield single.
And all things considered, if you can get a ground ball from either Byron Reichstein or Deolio on deck, neither one of them run particularly well. A ground ball right at someone here, pretty good chance at trying to turn another double play. We saw them get a big one earlier with the bases loaded and 1 out. Now Green's trying to get one with 2 on and 1 out to try and keep this game close.
Sam Green has been pounding the strike zone. 21 strikes, just 8 balls in his outing so far. Looking for the ground ball. Delivers ball 1. So if the London Majors win this game, they're on a pretty hot stretch. They will have won 5 of their last 6 games, and the only loss was a 1-0 loss to the Guelph Royals. The 1-0. Runner from third goes, pitches in the dirt. Lachlan Maud picks it up. Starlin Joseph didn't realize that Caden Cardoso was off for third base, and Cardoso got a great jump. Sam Green didn't look at him once at second.
And we've said that a couple times now. Sam Green's been ever so good coming back from injury, but his problem has always been keeping guys close. Teams will run, and they will run a lot. Joseph getting a big lead off first now, too.
Yeah, so that makes things interesting here for Lachlan Maud, the young catcher behind home plate. He needs to make sure that runner stays at first base and the double play opportunity remains for the Maple Leafs. Although, as we've seen many times in the IBL, if Starlin Joseph goes to second base, Caden Cardoso is a threat to come home. Joseph not going. Pitch in there for a strike.
Yeah, it's the oldest trick in the book, right? Like less than 2 outs, runner on first and third. If the runner from first goes and you see the catcher gun it to second, you send the runner third. Cardoso is pretty good speed, but then you have to rely on, well, is Dan Marr or Jose Vinicio cutting the ball off? Probably Dan Marr in this case because it's a lefty and Vinicio will cover the bag. We've seen teams do that in the majors. We've seen it at all levels. Teams try that.
Joseph goes, hit on the ground. They stay to the double play. Jordan Castaldo looks at everyone, steps on first base, and gets the out. That is a great play by the veteran Jordan Castaldo, who not just made a great play to glove that ball, he stayed in his head, made sure he got the out, and now the Maple Leafs are in about as good a situation as they could be. Runners on second and third, but 2 outs, and they have to get Eduardo de Olio.
And even here, now that you have second and third, 2 out, you have a base open. De Olio's been a bit of a Leaf killer the last couple years. Yeah, the lefty Krasminski's on deck, but Gibson Krasminski is not nearly as much of a power hitter as De Olio has been, both this year and in years past.
De Olio takes in the dirt, blocked by Lachlan Maud. What a block there from the young catcher.
Has got to be, if you can get De Olio to chase, you do so. If not, you deal with Krasminski on deck. It's not the end of the world to have Krasminski come up with the bases loaded and 2 out, force it any bag.
De Olio swings and misses, took a huge cut. It's 1-1.
You think he was trying to put the game out of reach with that swing right there? He connected with that one.
Yeah, it looked like it. So Gibson Krasminski has been the better hitter this season for the London Majors, but Eduardo de Olio is the one with the home run today. So here's the 1-1 pitch. And it's fouled off at home plate, and now you want to get Eduardo de Olio. Counts 1-2. Sam Green has got to make a pitch here against a veteran hitter in de Olio.
Same concept. Wouldn't throw a strike here. If you want to try and paint one on the inside corner or have one low and away with a curveball, I wouldn't throw one anywhere close to the meat of the plate. You have 3 pitches to work with, and you've gotten De Olio to have a couple not great swings to start the at-bat.
He goes with the breaking ball. It's hit on the ground. Diving stop by John Salazzo. He steps up, throws to first in time to get the out. What a play at third base by John Salazzo. And he's going to be coming up in the bottom of the 9th inning, and the Maple Leafs trying to tie things up here against the London Majors. They have 3 outs to work with here at Dominico Field.
The best of the Intercounty Baseball League descend on the Rose City on July 20th as the 2023 Dominico Cup champion Welland Jackfish and Welland Stadium host the 2024 Intercounty Baseball League All-Star Showdown and Home Run Derby. For ticket information, visit wellandjackfish.com/all-star or call 905-735-9834. Welland Jackfish Baseball. Fans first, fun always. Get hooked.
Oh, welcome back to Dominico Field. Jonathan Henry back on the mound for the London Majors, and this is crunch time for Toronto. They've lost 5 games in a row, and they are 1 run away from extending this thing and trying to win it, and this right here feels like the biggest inning of the season for the Maple Leafs.
It does, and I am shocked that they are letting Jonathan Henry face Jonathan Salazzo. I mean, we saw what Salazzo did against the righty areas. He had Alex Springer warming up in the pen. Now, I understand the latter half of it, which is, well, okay, you have a lefty-lefty if you put Springer in against Salazzo. Well, you have two more batters after that anyways, and Springer's young, but risky call.
Salazzo takes outside ball 1. The Maple Leafs have a pinch hitter on deck. John Salazzo lines one to center field, and that one's going to hang up for Andrew Lawrence, who makes the catch. And that's allowed, out number 1. So Chris Robinson will come to the plate with 1 out.
And Henry got away with one there, a hard hit ball. You know, Salazzo didn't get it up like he wanted. Ripped to center field, but now we'll have a righty and Robinson coming off the bench, and lefty and Dos Santos on deck.
Robinson hits this one out to left field. It's deep, and it's down, and it's going to roll all the way to the wall. Chris Robinson steaming into second base. He's there with a slide, and he has a double. And the Maple Leafs have some life here in the bottom of the 9th as Chris Robinson comes up with a hit in his first game since playing against the Welland Jackfish on June the 9th.
And now we're going to see they may pull out Robinson here, who doesn't have great speed. I mean, on the lineup card we were given, Lucas Alberti is on it. I haven't seen him down there today, but Alberti has good speed. You got Charlie Towers on the bench as well.
I see Lucas Alberti in the dugout.
So, and I think that's what Rob Butler's going to do here, is they're going to say, Chris, great job. Lucas Alberti, get in that game.
That is what they're going to do.
So a fantastic one-pitch performance from Chris Robinson, ripping it to the wall. He's done his job. And now with Alberti out there, we've seen him fly. A hard knock through the infield. I got to think that they are going to want to send Alberti with the speed that he has. And Dos Santos, we've seen it with the power, taking it the opposite way. A lot of green down the left field line for him.
Dos Santos takes low ball 1. The Maple Leafs need 1 run to send this thing to extras. Their ticket to the 10th stands on second base in Lucas Alberti.
Alex Springer throwing once again in the pen.
Dos Santos takes low. He's ahead 2-0. Dan Mara is on deck. That one's a strike, a breaking ball from Jonathan Henry to Salazzo.
And it's a good take from Dos Santos there. I mean, you're ahead in the count 2-0, but that's not a pitch that you want to even try and hit. You're still ahead in the count at 2-1.
The 1-2. This one's hit in the air towards center field, but it's not deep. Lucas Alberti going back to tag. Catch made by Andrew Lawrence. Here comes Lucas Alberti going to third base. He's in there with a slide just in time. And with 2 outs, the Maple Leafs have a runner at third base.
And you look at that holistically and you say, well, a base hit would score him anyways. Why take that risk? With Alberti's speed, and we've seen it a lot here at Christie Pitts, now you open up the potential for a pass ball, a wild pitch. Alberti has the speed to do it. So you look at it and you say, well, he's probably scoring from second on a single anyways, so what's the point of testing it? Well, with the backstop as big as it is here at Dominico Field, all it takes is Henry to spike one, and they're going to check to see if he tagged up in time.
Safe, says the umpire at second base.
And if you're London, no downside to that. You don't get him at third. You may as well try. I guarantee you that if he had not tagged up in time, Rob Butler would be storming the field right now. But
does that count as a disengagement?
No, it doesn't.
Don't think so?
Because the at-bat hasn't started yet.
Right. Okay. Dan Mara takes strike 1 on the outside corner.
What a spot for Dan Mara. He's had a tough game at the plate.
Mara lines it into the outfield. It's down for a base hit. Dan Mara has tied the ball game at 5.
And nobody needed that more than Dan Mara. A couple strikeouts this game, all the way down to 2 out here in the 9th, and the decision to let Jonathan Henry stay in this game bites the London Majors. And now we'll see another pinch runner. Mara's out. Charlie Towers with a bit more speed will get to first base. What an at-bat from Dan Mara, and we saw him frustrated in the dugout earlier this game. He needed that one. And we find ourselves right back. Partner, we said it, this was an absolutely massive game for the Leafs, even just to get this into the 10th inning, and now we're here.
So there's 2 away. Here's Connor Lewis. Pitch way outside, ball 1. That pinch runner decision at first base tells me that the Maple Leafs are looking to win this thing here in the bottom of the 9th. Lewis takes outside, ball 2.
And we've seen the power from Lewis in spurts in the past, but if he rips one right into the gap, left center right field gap, I guarantee you, Towers, if he gets a good read on it, he will be sent. They are in it to win it now.
Check swing, throw back to first base, not in time. Great throw from Eduardo Olio, but Charlie Towers just beat it back. The count's 1-2 on Connor Lewis. 2-1. Big swing and a miss, 2-2. Connor Lewis hit a home run to left field a couple games ago. This time just trying to find a gap and make some contact and turn things over to Lachlan Maud, who's on deck. The 2-2, swing and a miss, strike 3 on a up and away fastball from Jonathan Henry. But the Maple Leafs do exactly what they were trying to do. They tie the game at 5 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. It doesn't get any more exciting than that, and we get some free baseball for you. To the top of the 10th we go here between London and Toronto. Well, back here at Dominico Field as we enter the top of the 10th inning, and the extra inning rule is in effect, so we'll start with a runner on second base. That will be Eduardo Olio for the London Majors, who does not have good speed.
They're expecting Bowman to bunt here, and he will.
Bowman is pinch hitting.
Gibson Krasminski's out of the ball game, and I mean, they clearly think, or I shouldn't say think, they clearly have faith in Bowman's ability to get one down. Like you were just saying, you don't want to take Deolio out of the game. You can't do it. He's too good behind the plate, even with his limited speed. And if Bowman can get one down here, That's the only reason he's in this ballgame right now.
Bowman bunts it right back to Sam Green. He has it. He flips to first in time for the first out. Charlie Bowman has appeared in 4 games but does not register an official at bat, and that will continue with the sacrifice.
And so there's the debate that's always been had. If you're the away team in extra innings, clearly they went with the bunt, but do you really want to go for that? Because you just know in the bottom half, well, the home team's coming up with a runner on second and nobody out as well. You kind of assume generally that either team is going to score 1. So taking the out right away, if the Leafs give up 1 this inning, they'll be happy with that. Bottom of the lineup for the London Majors, you have 9-1-2 coming up for the Leafs.
Yeah, London had Bowman coming off the bench, where they were obviously very sure that he was going to be able to lay down a good bunt, so that factors into it as well.
And he did. He did his job, popped up the first one foul, got a good one down the second time, and now Dale is at third.
Plaz fouls it off. Had a big rip at that one. The infield is in for the Maple Leafs. They will try and cut down the runner at third base coming home if Eduardo D'Olio decides to do that. But if the ball goes to any of the Maple Leafs infielders, Eduardo D'Olio is not going to score unless it's a bad throw home.
No, and I'm kind of surprised that both Castaldo and Salazzo aren't a couple steps further back with their arm strength. Up the middle, I get it. But with D'Olio's speed and the arm strength on the corners.
Victor Plaz looked like he kind of jumped away from it a bit. It was called a strike on the inside corner, and a big reaction from the London Majors dugout. The count's 1-2. Sam Green could really use a strikeout here in the top of the 10th.
Needs an out pitch right here.
The 1-2, and it's up high. Count's now 2-2. Jose Vinicio played way in on the grass. I'll take a couple steps back. John Salazzo has played behind Jose Vinicio at third. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. A huge strikeout for Sam Green. And now he has a chance to strand D'Olio at third base.
Just a great pitch, low and in. Cutting in on Victor Plaz. And I mean, I was going to say, well, in terms of the arm strength in the outfield, Marcus Connect has the best arm. Now that there's 2 out, it doesn't really matter at this point, but big strikeout there.
High ball 1 to Tommy Reyes Cruz, who's hitting .255 on the season, has driven in 5 runs for the London Majors.
And it's a situation like this that makes you go back to the debate about whether you bunt the runner over to start the inning, because you give the opposing team a free out here, and now there's 2 out and you need a base hit.
The 1-0 to Reyes Cruz. Way inside, 2-0. There are certainly places to put London Majors batters, but if Sam Green's going to get out of it, this is the guy. Andrew Lawrence, who came in as a defensive replacement, is on deck, but he's not there for his defense. He's hitting .357 on the season. The 2-0. Upstairs. Count 3-0 here on Tommy Reyes Cruz. And I don't believe he'll be swinging on this pitch. Andrew Lawrence is on deck, has 28 at-bats this year. He's cashed in a couple runs and has 10 hits. So here's a 3-0 pitch from Sam Green. And he missed. And Sam Green looked hesitant throwing that 3-0 pitch there to Tommy Reyes Cruz, as he might have been not sure if Reyes Cruz was going to be swinging. So, to the 9 spot, which is now filled by Andrew Lawrence.
And again, I'd argue here that the important run, obviously the best case scenario, you escape this no runs allowed, it gives you the best chance. But all things considered, the important run is standing on first base right now, because you'll come up with a man on second too. So if D'Olio scores, it's not the end of the world. It's the man on first that counts.
Lawrence fouls it off. That one's going to get out of play. If there's anyone that the London Majors could have brought into this game off the bench when they need a single, this is the guy. 1 extra base hit this season for Andrew Lawrence, but he has peppered the ball all over the field, and he's had some great years in the IBL as well. In 2022, hit .269 and then up things to .325 last season over the course of 29 games. This one's fouled off down the right side.
And he's got some speed too. So it almost helps with the man on first. If you get a ball hitting the hold of Vinicio, you don't have to make that long throw. You probably won't get Lawrence with his speed anyways. His one extra base hit was a triple just the other game. With the man on first now, shorter throw up the middle, you get force at second, makes it slightly easier up the middle of the diamond.
The 2-0, way up and away, and Sam Green kind of felt something as he came off the mound, but I think he just slipped. So he's going to have to regroup.
I mean, we can't forget, he's running on some serious adrenaline here too after getting drilled by that line drive. So he's pitching through a lot, coming back from injury.
The 1-2. Just upstairs, 2-2. Andrew Lawrence last played against the Toronto Maple Leafs back on the Maple Leafs home opener on the 12th. He had 2 hits. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sam Green gets an enormous strikeout. And with the ghost runner at second base, he holds the London Majors at bay and gives his team a chance to win it in the bottom of the 10th. We'll be right back. Here we go. So here we are in the bottom of the 10th inning, and it's Lachlan Maud who's going to come to the plate. The Maple Leafs have the runner at second base.
Maud swinging there on his first pitch. London's expecting him to bunt. I thought he was going to bunt.
Jordan Castaldo is on deck. The Maple Leafs trying to win it here against the London Majors in the bottom half in a game which they've had to battle back. They tied it with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. And it's in the dirt. And it's going to roll all the way to the Maple Leafs dugout, and Connor Lewis is going to advance to third base. And the Maple Leafs are 90 feet away.
And that works just as well as a bunt would have. You know, you swing and miss on 2 pitches. Clearly, Rob Butler told them, hey, we want you swinging away here. That wild pitch, we talked about it last inning. The reason why you send Alberti to third on that fly ball. Wild pitches happen when you spike it here at Christie Pitts. Now, London will have to play in for the next 2 hitters.
And Maud fouls it off. What a moment this would be for Lachlan Maud, the rookie, the 19-year-old in the Inter-County Baseball League.
And the Majors sticking with Jonathan Henry. They're in it. They're in it now. Nobody warming in the pen. We thought for a bit it might be Alex Springer, but Henry to face the righty Mod. Lefty Castaldo on deck.
And a swing and a miss. Pitch in the dirt. Eduardo D'Olio having some trouble with it. Throws to first just in time. One away. That is a big out for Jonathan Henry.
And unfortunately for Mod, he did not turn and go. That ball was in the dirt and he kind of lightly jogged, and then he turned back to look at a certain point. If he was gunning it down that line there, he would have been safe. Now, how often does that happen? When you actually leg out a drop third strike where the ball doesn't go to the backstop. So it's not so much a criticism on him as just an unlucky break. Now you rely on the vets to come up here in Castaldo and Vinicio. It works like a bunt. One out, man on third.
Castaldo, the leadoff hitter, but arguably the best RBI guy on the Toronto Maple Leafs, has been smashing the ball this season.
And they're going to put him on. It's not a bad decision.
So this is interesting now. Jose Vinicio comes to the plate, has struggled this season at the plate, although if you're looking for a guy who has bat-to-ball skills and is able to put it in play, that's Jose Vinicio, and that's all the Maple Leafs need here. They don't need a hit. Something interesting on the infield, a fly ball, any of that will do. Connor Lewis has decent speed down there at third base, so he has a good chance to score. If Vinicio can get this one in the air or on the ground up the middle. Eduardo D'Olio is going to talk about this one here.
And the other thing is with Vinicio's speed, if he hits it weakly on the ground, there's no sure thing as getting a double play with him. Castaldo, yeah, not great speed at first, but his run doesn't matter anyways.
First and third. Jose Vinicio hits this one in the air. It's not particularly deep. Catch is made. Here comes Connor Lewis, and now he's going to put the brakes on and go back to third base.
And
Jonathan Henry has worked himself into the same scenario that the Maple Leafs and Sam Green were in. There's a runner on third base and 2 outs, and now they need a hit from Marcus Connect.
And that is just killer. It's killer to swing at a first pitch and pop it up. You gotta know the situation.
Fortunately for the Maple Leafs, they have Marcus Connect coming to the plate, who is probably their best all-round hitter on the team. Marcus Connect has walked it off before at Dominico Field a couple years ago with a single. And he swings and misses at the first pitch. It was in the dirt. D'Olio blocks it. Connor Lewis keeping his eye on that ball. If it gets away from the catcher, Eduardo D'Olio, he's the guy at third base. Jonathan Henry entering into his third inning of work, trying to get the biggest out of the day here in Marcus Connect, with the Maple Leafs threatening in the bottom of the 10th. London trying to send it to the 11th. Here's the 1-0, and Connect swings and misses, strike 2.
And if we do head to the 11th, we will likely see Junior Valdez come in the game. Sam Green pitched 3 quality innings, but he's still coming back. They don't want to stretch him out too much. He's throwing a lot of high-stress pitches. Valdez has been throwing for a little bit.
The 2-0 way outside by design there from Henry. Maple Leafs trying to end it right here. Marcus Connect behind in a 1-2 hole. The pitch from Henry. Just inside, 2-2. A good take there from Marcus. Maple Leafs fans on the edge of their seat here at Dominico Field, they want to see the Maple Leafs break this streak. Their best chance to do it is right here with Marcus Connect. The 2-2, inside corner, strike 3 called. Jonathan Henry gets out of the inning via the strikeout. And the Maple Leafs and London Majors trade pitching blows in the 10th inning, and we head to the 11th. And it looks like it is going to be Julian Valdez who's coming into the game for Toronto.
on to second baseman number 97, Tyler Mosher.
Well, the London Majors have the right part of the lineup coming up here in the top of the 11th inning. They've got a runner with good speed and Andrew Lawrence out there at second base, and it's Tyler Mosher, the guy who came into this game hitting over 380 at the plate. It's 1-2-3 in the order for London. Julian Valdez into the game for the Maple Leafs. Mosher squaring to bunt, and he fouls it off. London Majors are going to try and employ the same strategy that they did last inning. Bunt the runner to third base, but this time they'll try and get him in.
A good pitch from Valdez there. Like, you know the guy is squaring, so you bust it hard and in.
Maple Leafs hoping they get the lockdown version of Julian Valdez that they've seen at times this season. The 0-1 pitch. Mosher squares the bunt, pitch way outside.
And we should give credit up until this point, the phenomenal job that the Maple Leafs bullpen has done on short notice, with Hodges not going too long in this game, as well as being very limited in who's down there. 2 terrific innings from Taylor Lepard, 3 solid innings from Sam Green, and now you turn it over to Valdez. They've done a heck of a job out of the pen thus far.
They've given the Leafs a chance. Mosher trying to bunt, throw down to second base. They've got the runner hung up, throw to third. And he's in there safely. Oh, it was a close play at third base, but
it's a rookie mistake from Lachlan Maude, and he knows it. I'm sure he's thinking about it right now in his mind. You never want to throw behind a runner. You either run in front of him, you throw in front of him. There is no harm in having him go back to the base. You throwing behind him with the speed that he does gives him that extra base.
Jose Vinicio did a great job to pick that ball, or it could have gone into center field. And then they almost got the runner going to third base. Although if that had gone right into the glove of Jose Vinicio, Andrew Lawrence probably would have been out at third base.
He would have been.
It was
he
very
absolutely
close.
would have been. But you never throw behind a runner in that scenario. Never, ever.
So here's the 1-2 pitch. Mosher's trying to bunt again.
I kind of like that out of Mosher. I mean,
squeeze him home?
Yeah, squeeze him home. I mean, the infield's so far in. Now that you're back at 2-2, I don't know if you go back to it, but at 1-2, yeah, with Lawrence's speed, now I think you try and rip one through the infield.
The 2-2 pitch. Infield played way in for the Leafs. And it's just outside.
And that's what he was planning to do. I mean, he took a tough pitch, full count now, but that is exactly what his thought process was. You draw him in, and now you try and hit it right through him. It's interesting, the Leafs defense still playing in here.
The full count. And that one's lined into center field. Connor Lewis back, makes the catch. The runner coming home, and Andrew Lawrence will score, and the London Majors have taken the lead. It's 6-5. So that's the unearned run that comes in to score for London. Now Julian Valdez's job is to shut down Cardoso and Joseph and let the Maple Leafs have equal opportunity in the bottom of the 11th.
And unfortunately, you play with the cards that are dealt, and unfortunately Lawrence did make it to third there, but that run would not have scored had it all played out the same if that throw went in front of Lawrence. But that's just inexperience, you know, and Lachlan Maude knows that, excuse me. I'm sure he's still thinking about it right now. It's a play that he, as good a catcher as he is, I'm sure has made before and made the correct decision before. It's just in the heat of the moment, it's tough.
Better than I could do. So 1-1 the count here on Caden Cardoso. Maple Leafs are not out of the woods yet. The London Majors have 2 of their more dangerous hitters at the plate and on deck. The 1-1. That one's lined into the outfield, down for a base hit. Brian Dos Santos plays it on a hop. Cardoso is into first base with a one-out single in the top of the 11th.
And now that the run has scored, you got to treat it like it's a new inning, right? You almost got to assume. Now, I know it's hard to say because we saw for both teams in the 10th inning, well, it's hard to say that you assume a run scores because neither team scored a run. But generally speaking, that run more often than not does come around to score. So now you think, okay, one run is nothing. It's the second and the third runs that mean the most. You have to trust in your offense to score one run in the bottom half.
Joseph takes low in the dirt.
And for Valdez, as we see Adam Mara begin to throw in the bullpen, for Valdez, it's just finding that control once again. Joseph doesn't have terrific speed. A ball on the ground, we saw it earlier in the game. Double play candidate.
Here's the 1-0. On the ground, John Salazzo has it. Goes to second for one. Throw to first. Picked, but not in time. Charlie Towers turned that ball in a hurry to Jordan Castaldo, but Joseph ran too well down the line.
Right play all around. You get the lead runner, keep him back at first.
This has been a heck of a ball game today between the Maple Leafs and London Majors. Great defense played on both sides of the baseball. We've seen the long ball 8 times, I guess, in this game, 7 times in this game.
It's been a fun one. It's been very fun. And the London Majors get to turn right around and play again tomorrow. So that's something I hadn't considered, and the reason why they may want to stretch out Jonathan Henry is they have a game tomorrow against Barrie, I believe, coming up. That'll be a tough one as well. You need your arms for that.
The 1-0. Joseph goes. Mods throw down to second. Not in time. Joseph is able to slide under the tag. Toronto Maple Leafs will take a trip down to Chatham, Kent tomorrow.
And we've seen that a couple times this game. London taking advantage of Lachlan Mods catching behind the plate, reading the pitches well. Doesn't have the strongest arm. Now a base hit, probably scores a run.
Here's the 2-0. Swing and a miss. Big pitch there from Valdez. Eduardo De Olio is on deck, and if he comes to the plate, that's the whole reason why the London Majors didn't pinch run for him in the 10th inning. In hopes that if they didn't score, that he would get another at-bat, and that situation could happen if Reichstein can reach. And he takes a half cut at that pitch, and it's a strike. So the count's now 2-2.
Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, we've seen it this game. De Olio's defense has been invaluable for them. Back there, blocking pitches, framing pitches. They've gotten a couple calls, as much as the London dugout probably disagrees. Calls have gone both ways. I think it's been a fairly consistent strike zone on both sides this game. Valdez needs an out pitch right here.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. He does get that out pitch. The one run that was planted at second base comes in to score for the London Majors. So that's what the Maple Leafs will be tasked with in the bottom half of the 11th inning, and we'll be right back. Oh, this is a face that the Maple Leafs are happy to see at the plate in Jonathan Salazzo with a runner on second base and Marcus Connect. He's the ghost runner out there at second.
Yeah, decent speed for Connect. Only letting one in was big in the top half. Valdez did his job.
Salazzo takes strike one. Maple Leafs must score a run to keep this thing going.
Greg Carrington is in the on-deck circle.
The 0-1 pitch. This one's chopped towards shortstop. This will at least advance the runner. Throw is high, and it pulls him off the bag. So Salazzo is safe at first base. Well, that was a play that probably could have been made there from Tommy Reyes-Cruz, although he had to gun the ball over to first, and in doing so just pulled Cardoso off the bag, and the Maple Leafs are in business here in the bottom of the 11th inning.
And wouldn't this be something for Greg Carrington, a guy who's predominantly pitched this year?
Yeah.
And he's pitched pretty damn well out of the pen, but Chris Robinson comes in, sees one pitch, hits a very important double that comes around to score. Now he's out, and there'll be a mound visit for London. But yeah, you have the righty on the mound, Carrington on lefty.
Greg Carrington, before the season, I had a chat with him, and he said he just wanted to do whatever he could this year to try and help the team win. And he realized that most of that has been on the pitching side of things this year, and he's been excellent coming to the bullpen, but now he has a chance to do it with the bat.
And on top of that, in this situation, you know, you wouldn't want Alberti coming up here. Alberti's he's been very useful for the Maple Leafs this year, but righty, when you have Carrington on the bench, it's a pretty obvious call to go matchup here, especially with Henry. He's now in his fourth inning of work. Nobody's throwing down in the London pen. This is Jonathan Henry's ball game. And Carrington, good speed, so on the ground, I mean, the majors are more worried about who's on third than who's on first, but a hard hit ground ball causing a little chaos out there. A lot of room right up the middle of the infield for Carrington if he takes it there.
Yeah, in this situation, the runner from third scoring isn't the worst for London. They do have a one-run lead. Maple Leafs have Ryan Dos Santos on deck. Greg Carrington hits it into the outfield, and it's going to drop for a base hit, although there's going to be a forced play at second. The run is going to come in to score. It's an unfortunate fielder's choice for Greg Carrington, but he gets the job done and scores the run. We're tied at 6.
That was a really good play by Byron Reichstein out there, because he faked it as if he was going to catch it, and he almost did. But that does two things. One, it allows you for the force play at second there, but also it makes the runner on third hold up. So had he caught that, I don't think Connect would have gone because it wasn't that deep. But if you can't keep the run from scoring, you do the next best thing, and that was a heads-up play for Reichstein.
Just a note, if Reichstein had thrown that ball home or cut straight to home, Marcus Connect would have been out at home plate.
Well, he had to wait for the ball to be played, right? He thought that he might have caught it.
Throw down to second with the runner going, and it's safe as the ball drops out of the glove of the shortstop, Tommy Reyes-Cruz. Ryan Dos Santos has a runner in scoring position. That was a gutsy stolen base there from Greg Carrington.
And that's what the speed does. Now with Dos Santos up, a base hit to the outfield with Carrington's speed. I think you're sending him with Towers on deck. I think you're sending Carrington.
Dos Santos hits a little chopper towards first, fielded by Henry, and he beats Dos Santos to the bag. So there's a runner on third now, but with 2 outs for the Maple Leafs, and we've seen this situation before on both sides of things. Henry had to deal with this in his last inning, and he was able to prevail. Charlie Towers comes up for the Maple Leafs with a chance to walk it off. Jonathan Henry trying to put together an MVP caliber performance in this game for London. Pitches way high to Charlie Towers, ball 1.
And again, now that you get that Dos Santos out, you can move the infield back 2 away. Towers will have to hit it through somewhere.
The 1-0 pitch. Towers rockets it foul towards the left, and he swung so hard that his shin guard came off. Actually, that's his elbow guard.
Yeah, 1-on-1 on Towers. I mean, what a moment it would be for Charlie, another rookie on this squad, to come up clutch here. Outfield's playing shallow, not that it matters with 2 out, but
The 1-1. It's up and away. It goes to the backstop. Here comes Greg Carrington, and he scores! And the Maple Leafs win the ball game.
what
For the
a play!
second time this season, it's a walk-off wild pitch, and the Leafs have broken the streak.
And what did we talk about earlier in the game? The importance of getting that runner to third, the wild pitches, the pass balls at Dominico Field, the big backstop. Even Delio couldn't save that one, but we saw it with Alberti, and it didn't matter. The importance of getting a speedy runner to third in Carrington, that is why you run everything out. And that is a heads-up play from Carrington, who got a great read on it. That pitch went behind Charlie Towers. That pitch was nowhere close, and boy, oh boy, did the Maple Leafs need this one. 5 losses in a row. Heck of a ball game.
Jonathan Henry may have felt the pressure of not throwing a wild pitch, and sometimes when you think of that, it ends up happening, and the Maple Leafs get a huge win. They break the 5-game losing streak. They needed to win today. We thought this was a must-win game for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They scored 2 in the bottom of the 11th, and they win the ball game. So we say goodbye here from Dominico Field. Thanks so much for tuning in. The Maple Leafs have their next game against the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers. A quick turnaround coming up on Monday.